my favorite show, because it is my show. If this was your show, you'd probably like it more than I did. That's just because it was your show, but it's not your show, it's the Tom Green Show. The Tom Green Show. The Tom Green Show.
Thank you.
The Tom Green Show.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Keep it going, keep it going. Keep it going. Thank you. Thank you, Los Angeles. Thank you. Thank you, Los Angeles, California. My name is Tom Green, and welcome to my second podcast ever. I got to tell you, this is really exciting to be invited here to the SModCastle in Los Angeles, California. And I want to say, before I bring out Hal Sparks, who is our guest tonight, let's have a hand for Hal Sparks, everybody. I have questions prepared. Hal and I are going to be talking with you here in our studio audience and with people around the world on iTunes and TomGreen.com. We're going to be speaking here for the next hour to an hour and a half. Afterwards, we're going to be going out and getting a drink here in Los Angeles. Last week after the podcast, we went out and got a drink. We had Bill Burr here last week, and we went over to the Three of Clubs bar after the podcast and had an after party. And we're going to start doing this every Tuesday that I'm in town in Los Angeles. We're taking the next week or so off, but then we're going to be back in November every Tuesday. Okay. Last week when we did the show, I started the show and I looked out at the audience, and you guys here in the studio, the actual studio audience, and it scared me. That never happened before. I've been doing a show in my living room for the last 4 years. I have bleachers in my living room, but the people that come to that show are my friends. And last week I looked into the audience here, and some of the people looking back were not my friends. We became friends. We went and had to the after party, but they were people that I did not know, and it was an amazing and fun and exciting and scary experience doing a radio show, a podcast, and then looking out and seeing an actual live paying audience. By the way, I don't know if people around the world listening to this know, but the SModCastle audience pays to come here. This isn't one of these bullshit Los Angeles paid audience. Everyone gets $45 and lunch to come sit in an audience all day at a TV show. These are you people. Give yourselves a round of applause for coming out here and supporting the SModCastle and coming out here to see Hal Sparks tonight. This is a new idea of Kevin Smith's, and I'm happy to be a part of it. Here we go. We're going to bring out now Hal Harry McGee Sparks III, born September 25th, 1969. He's a stand-up comedian, actor, heavy metal musician, one-time game show host, known for his additions to VH1 and the role of Michael on the American television series Queer as Folk. He was also the host of E's Talk Soup. Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together for Hal Sparks here tonight with us.
Very exciting.
Yeah.
Oh, it is shocking having people here. I'll try not to. I was going to go all physical, but that would be bad for a podcast.
Well, see what I'm saying? This is why I was telling you what I noticed last week before the show, because you're a stand-up comedian. You're used to performing to a stand-up comedy audience, but you're used to having the mic in your hand. You're looking at them. You're pacing around.
Yeah.
You're not sitting in a radio format desk.
Yeah, head-mounted microphone.
Yeah,
on sort of
and then you turn over, and then all these people are there.
Staring and kind of confused. It's good.
But it's fun.
And of course, not just in front of a live audience, but also down on Santa Monica Boulevard, on the carcass of what is art in Los Angeles. There's no these. I think it's great that Kevin Smith took over this space and turned it into something useful, because it was like this area, like the block and a half of where these little theaters are.
You got to run from the car.
Yeah. And it's also just like it's like watching the death of art in Los Angeles. It's like they mockingly have a theater district in Los Angeles, and this is it. And they just kind of like, this is what we think of plays,
Yeah, it was amazing to me. I'd never been here before, and it's kind of sort of I would throw in there's a little bit of a punk rock vibe to it too, though, right?
Oh yeah, well, I think the black paint on the walls,
The black
helps
paint on the
immensely.
walls and,
it wasn't always like this.
Yeah.
I'm certain of it. I've been in this place when it was not this.
Yeah.
And it wasn't punk rock at all.
Had you ever seen these theaters here before?
I have. I've been crowbarred into seeing friends do, two bangers and plays down here, and it's just like
Two bangers?
Yeah, two actors.
Oh,
just two
okay.
actors
All
on
right,
stage.
cool.
It's
All
a
right.
theater term. See what I mean? I rest my case. The death of theater. And, like a friend will go, hey, I'm in a play in Los Angeles. And after you're done laughing and staring at them in a confused way, you go, okay, I'll come. And then you go see the play, and there's like, they try really hard. Has anybody here been to the complex and seen an actual play? No. Nothing. Just
The complex is this area.
Yeah, it's the next door, basically. It's these three theaters. And you go in and they'll like try to serve wine and try to make it a night, and you're sitting on these like rickety ass chairs
I
watching.
think it's cool though. I think it's cool. I think everybody should come down to the complex, right? You're going to get me fired.
No, I think you should come to the SModCastle.
Come to the
this
SModCastle.
place,
Yeah.
I'm just saying this has nothing to do with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
This is kind of charming.
Yeah, no, it's cool. So we were here
That's
a
just
week ago.
scary, right? But yeah.
We were here a week ago with Bill Burr, and then the next day I went to San Francisco, and I walked into the clincher of the San Francisco Giants game where they clinched it. They
Right.
clinched the playoffs, right?
Well, sort of. They entered the playoffs by clinching they had to win one game out of three against the Padres, and everybody thought they were going to do it. They thought they were going to get it. And I know nothing about sports and care nothing about sports, but we all got sucked right into it, didn't we?
Yeah.
But and they
Yeah,
had
well, that's
three
exactly
games.
what
They
happened.
only had to win one. They lost the first two. So the third game, like this Sunday, which was supposed to be a year ago, I guess when the lovely and talented John Schneider helped plan all this.
Yeah.
It was supposed to be kind of all right, by this time they'll either be in or out, it'll be nothing, blah blah blah, and the whole place was so tense. The entire like every time something went really well, that there was an extra sense of desperation in the clapping of every person, and that they're like ha ha ha, ha. There was like this weird kind of hopeless energy. You're like, please, no.
Yeah, and like you, I don't know what's going on either.
Yeah,
with
I don't
sports.
care.
I don't know.
And,
somebody said you're going to get to meet Willie Mays today.
That you did.
And it sounded like, I thought they said you're going to meet Abraham Lincoln. You know?
I thought they said Willie Ames, and I was like, what?
Okay, so that would have been actually pretty cool.
Yeah, it would have actually.
Meeting Willie Ames.
Yeah, Willie Ames.
So wait,
Charles.
So you ended up getting to do. We got to do some stand-up comedy on the dugout.
Standing on the Padres dugout.
Of the Padres dugout at the Giants game. Okay, so
Which happens all the time in your life.
Yeah, exactly. You meet Willie Mays. We got free shirts.
Yeah.
We got free hot dogs.
Mm-hmm.
So
where'd you get your first hot dog from?
So then
when you got there, when the first hot dog that you got, where did that come from? How'd you get that hot dog? How was that?
You know what? Now that you mention it, Al, you got me the first hot dog.
That's
you
right.
went and bought
Okay.
me a hot dog because
before
the hot
food
dogs
showed up.
Right, the hot dogs had not arrived yet.
There was no food in the booth.
We were
in the box they'd put us in.
Rob Schneider had a very fancy celebrity box up by the press box. We were up there. The hot dogs were not on time.
No, they were not. The buns were there, but sadly just devoid of hot dog as a way of just cruel.
The hot dogs were not on time.
No.
And you said, would you like a hot dog? And I said, yeah, I'd love a hot dog. And you went out, and then about 10 minutes later, you came back and you gave me that hot dog. And I was really hungry, too, so thank you for that.
Absolutely. I'm just glad it happened. Not often in your life do you get to get Tom Green a hot dog at a game that neither of you give a shit about.
Yeah. But now I'm a huge Giants fan now. No,
of course you are. You've got all the gear.
Yeah.
It's probably half your wardrobe
I
now.
got 4 hats. I got a shirt, and I got a Rob Schneider bobblehead doll. So that's cool.
Go Giants! You can do it.
So I don't know if I want to ask you about Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman, right now.
You don't get to rush right into that.
Well, the only reason I bring it up is because we ended up backstage and we were talking a little bit about your Native American heritage.
Right. And the one time
I thought that was cool, and I'd like to hear more about that at some point tonight. We don't have to jump right into that.
Sure.
But then I noticed you also played on Dr. Quinn, Medicine Woman. You played the character of.
Look it up. It's good. Say it.
You played gentle horse.
There you go. Thank you.
On the Dr. Quinn medicine.
Yeah. Two of the most ironic words to define me.
Yeah.
Sad. It was interestingly enough. In all the years in Hollywood, I've ever tried to milk your Native American heritage for anything where you can, and they always want to cast real Native Americans. This was the thing, and I give the Dr. Quinn folks credit for that. But once you're in, you're out. That's it. They're like, we need another 2-line Indian. Can you guys get in here? And it's the same 15 guys, and you're all in there. And you're like, hey, how are you? We're all wearing our denim on denim.
Yeah.
and trying to play it up as much, and it's all that. It's the worst of Hollywood in that there's only 10 of you, and if one of you's working, the rest of you aren't. So we're all friends, and yet, you get it this week. Yeah. And then my rotation came through, and I got to play a drunken Indian, and it was so disappointing to my family and everything. But it tells a good story. The actual plot line of it was a piece of history I don't think a lot of people know, and so I felt good about being part of the telling of that, which is one of the ways that they killed off the Native Americans, and especially in the northern United States, was that they would push them into these reservations, and then they would say, okay, you can hunt on the reservation, but nothing off the reservation. You're not allowed to leave the land. And then they would have an Indian agent who was in charge of being the liaison between the locals and the natives, and he would basically be in charge of herding all the animals off the reservation land. He would get guys to come in there, so there would be nothing you could hunt for on the land they'd put you on. And then the natives would get angry and say, there's no food here, and they go, well, we'll deliver food to you. And instead, and they brought in rotten meat and alcohol that they would pour sugar in. They would literally fill the bottle with half sugar, so it was just sweet water.
Yeah.
And it was the only thing that was there. You couldn't eat the meat. There was nothing else to do. So they would just drink and drink and drink until they were drunk and pissed off.
Yeah, sure.
And then they would riot, and then they could shoot them. That was the system, and it worked all over the place. And it's always funny to me. This is I think this took place in Montana, but most of these stories actually came from Wisconsin and Minnesota, that area. And it always struck me as funny because Wisconsin has so many cities that are named after natives. But that's where they were killed. It's like,
sure.
Welcome to Algonquin, Wisconsin. Oh yeah, where are the Algonquins? You're standing on them.
Yep. I went to Algonquin College, actually.
There you go.
You're not Algonquin.
No, I'm not. I'm Kahituck, which is we got grouped in with the Cherokee, but we're not. We speak Cherokee, but
from the southern
Georgia.
Southern Georgia.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah.
And
my last name Sparks actually comes from Sparrowhawk about 4 generations ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you know a fair amount about the history of the tribe and everything like that? That's got to be pretty interesting,
Yeah,
to have that history right here.
Yeah, I think
America.
the majority of the history being that I'm half Scottish as well, and basically that my people, as it were, fucked the first white people they saw. They're like, wow, you're pretty. You smell funny, but let's have sex. And that was pretty much true. And both my parents are half. That's how they met.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. Okay, and now, but you grew up in Kentucky, though, right? Well, I'm going to move on. We're going to keep.
Yeah,
this moving,
no,
okay?
keep it absolutely. We're never going to crowbar all this in.
Yeah, no, I got a lot of stuff we have to talk about. You grew up in Kentucky.
Yep.
Is that crazy?
Horrible.
Growing up in Kentucky, or
no,
is
it's
that
terrible. It's.
I almost got arrested once in Bowling Green, Kentucky. I rented a goat for $25. No, actually, I bought a goat. For $25.
Yeah, you don't want to return a goat after something like that.
Yeah, it was in the classified ads. Yeah, no.
Right. I'm sorry. You can keep the fucking deposit, but I'm not giving it. No,
it was.
You can have the fucking goat.
No. We just befriended the goat, and it was a pet goat that we had for the day, and we were walking it around Bowling Green, filming goofy stuff, and we walked out onto the runway of the little Bowling Green airport there.
Sure, with a goat.
And with the goat, and as this was a small jet coming in, I walked up to the pilot who was leaned out his window, and he said, "Get the fuck off the runway!" And then basically, then we realized that we'd committed some major, crime. That's. I'm not into doing illegal stuff. I never.
You're
never,
Canadian.
No, I just never
you guys
really
don't care for it.
I just don't know if I would be able to handle. being in prison, frankly.
With a goat.
So I'm with a goat.
As your only option.
Yeah, so we bailed, and then we left. We ran away, got in the car. Didn't really officially. We're not told that we were in trouble. We just left. We were told.
Sure.
And then we heard from somebody that the Bowling Green cops were looking for us. They wanted to kick us out of town.
It was an APB
So
out.
we got the fuck
Two guys
out of
and a
there.
goat.
We got the fuck out of Kentucky.
But I think that's wise.
Yeah. But so what's it like growing up there in Kentucky?
The ironic part is that my exit story is almost identical. Except without the pilot. Yeah. It's pretty much, other than that, it's exactly the same.
A goat was involved.
There was a goat involved. I have 2 goats named after me, though. A side note, at Farm Sanctuary and Animal Acres, which are 2 farm sanctuaries in the country. One's in upstate New York, one's here in California. I have 2 goats named after me. I don't know. Anyways.
What are they, Sparks or Hal?
No, just 2 Hals.
Hal Sparks, the goat? Hal?
It's a very goaty name. Hal, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. But it's not that funny. All right.
No, it's
yeah.
funny.
Yeah, sure.
Look, everybody, we're getting some good laughs here tonight, right?
Yeah, it's not bad.
Right, guys?
We're just warming up.
Yeah, we're just getting started. We're only like 3 minutes into a 4.5-hour broadcast.
Yeah, this is... Don't worry. When we get to middle school, this is really going to cook.
Yeah. I'm telling you. Yeah.
Yeah, so I
got some
I lived in
stories about
Kentucky
that.
till I was 14, didn't have a TV, lived in a place called Peaks Mill, Kentucky, one road, 46 people. Just a bullshit
Really?
town.
A really small town. I didn't know that.
Pathetically small.
Yeah, okay.
We had a no stop sign, no reason really. Just get the fuck out of there. We had a little general store, Peaks Mill General Store, and the Peaks Mill Christian Church. It's a little white Christian church in every sense of the word. It was just this little, with a cemetery next to it that nobody had been buried in since 1955. I think they just filled it up. Yeah, and they just decided, I don't want to be buried in a city.
Right.
So they were just this.
It's kind of a creepy little cemetery.
Yeah, exactly. Kind of
very.
It was fenced off so the kids wouldn't dig in it.
So you dug a body up? Did you dig up a body?
Well, I did actually. Our house, the house I grew up in Peaks Mill, was a church for black soldiers during the Civil War. Uh-huh. They gave them their own land to have a church on because they didn't want them coming to services in the same building. This is like, hey, we're glad to fight for you guys to be free, but beat it, will you? Yeah. And but they didn't give them any land to bury their dead, and so to bury them on hallowed ground, they buried them underneath the house, essentially. So under our house were like 25...
Under your house?
Yeah.
So you lived poltergeist?
It's sort of, yeah. And I...
Sort of like...
When I was...
That's the movie Poltergeist
6
as well.
or 7 years old.
Yeah.
When I was 6 or 7 years old, I was crawling around under the house looking for one of my cats, and I came out carrying a bone.
What?
It was about...
What?
No, I'm dead serious.
I don't believe you.
I actually don't believe you. About a foot and a half long. I'm dead serious.
No, you're fucking with me.
No, I'm
man.
not. And they had to we moved into a subdivision for 2 years while they
it's like
excavated the
I
land
knew
under the
this
house.
and I was leading you to tell this story, but
Right.
in fact, all I knew was that you're from Kentucky, and I thought there might be something interesting that must have happened growing up in Kentucky, but I didn't think you would be crawling out of your...
We had
with
ghosts
bones
under
in your
there.
hand,
Totally, bones
under
under
the
there.
house.
Absolutely.
And was it haunted or was it crazy? Or?
Yeah, my mom always said it was haunted. Our house in Louisville, we lived when I was in preschool. My mom said that was really haunted. That was the biggest like haunted house experience that we had in Kentucky. Was apparently my mom was in the kitchen and fuck off. And my mom was in the kitchen and she heard me talking to other people upstairs.
Yeah.
And she heard other voices, and it wasn't me making voices. She said it wasn't, I wasn't that good yet. Uh-huh. And she came out of the kitchen, and I wasn't even up there. I was standing on the steps, just totally frozen with my hands in little fists, and I was grimacing really hard.
You were the girl from Poltergeist.
Totally, and I was just standing in the middle of the stairs. And she came over and touched me, and she went, Hal, and I went, can I go play? And then I went
Hal is a scary horror movie name too.
It is,
2001. Isn't it? IBM -2, but minus one.
Yeah.
Minus one, yeah, as hell.
Right.
So
my name is short for High Order Assembly Language, which is where Hal comes from.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Was that a computer thing too? Mm-hmm. I didn't even know that there was a computer thing for Hal. I just thought it was IBM.
No, yeah,
-1.
that's actually a misnomer.
So that makes that whole decision to call that computer Hal in 2001 like just pretty good idea.
Awesome.
Pretty good idea. He came up with.
I agree.
So wait, back to the bone though. You got a
Don't
bone.
breeze past
you got
that.
a bone in your hand. How old were you?
6, 7.
You had a bone in your hand.
7 years old,
You're
1977.
7 years old. Did you instantly knew it was a human bone?
No.
Okay.
No, my mom's a nurse. She knew it was.
Did you think you'd found like a dead?
I thought it was a cow bone. I remember
yeah.
my mom kept telling the story that I kept going, I found a cow bone underneath the house. Yeah.
So you brought it in.
Gave it to my mom, and she went, where did you get this? And I went, under the house, and she went, oh, Lord.
Yeah.
And she got on the phone and called my dad, and there was a lot of like, where have we moved? And then my dad worked for the state at that point, and they had a guy come out from the State Historical Society because the house we lived in was a historical site, and they said, yeah, we're going to have to dig up under there. And so they came in with a bunch of guys and crawled under the house and started like skimming dirt out from under it.
Did that mess you up? Did that make you want to become a stand-up comedian?
That was what it is. That was when I first realized I was holding that bone, and it was kind of like 2001: A Space Odyssey. It suddenly became a microphone, and I was like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I might be onto something.
Yep.
No.
Okay.
I didn't know what a stand-up was then, but I used to listen to comedy records when I was about that age. My dad had a collection. A dude. My dad wanted this guy wanted a banjo for my dad that he had fixed up, and so he traded him, I think, 2 mandolins and a box of records for this banjo, and it was just this crate of old LPs, and half of it was comedy records. It was like Richard Pryor and Godfrey Cambridge and Jonathan Winters and Shelley Berman, and there was one that was like the golden age of comedy that had like Marx Brothers routines and Burns and Allen and that kind of stuff on it. Some Lenny Bruce records.
And this just randomly fell on your lap at
that's
pretty cool.
Yeah, at 6 and I bought my first Kiss record when I was 5, and so I was big into LPs, and I was like, this is awesome. And so I would listen to comedy records and Kiss all the time. That was pretty much my whole experience. Yeah.
No television?
No, we didn't have one. We lived behind a big hill, and there was no reception. This is pre-satellite dish, there was no direct TV, there was no anything. So
isn't that? I mean, that's crazy to me that we had a black and white television, but it never worked. The first until I was about 10. Then we were the last family to get a color TV for some reason. It wasn't because my parents didn't care about that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just
and it didn't hurt you at all. You grew up normal. Right?
Yeah. No,
if anybody look at
it really, I don't know. It would have been worse, to be honest with you.
We got to get these kids a color TV, or they'll grow up like the Green Boy.
But no TV would have actually been kind of really strange, I think.
Yeah, it was the only TV I was able to get ever was that on occasion the PBS channel would come in like radio, and it would just be it'd be you could see the static, but you could listen to it. And so on rare occasion there would be something on, like I would listen to Dave Allen at Large.
Yeah.
If you know what that is. It's Dave Allen at Large.
A sports show?
No, he was a Irish comedian.
Okay.
Who was missing a finger.
Okay.
And he would sit in a stool and tell jokes. That was the whole show. And he was just in a suit, very, just 60s looking suit, like swooped hair.
You guys know this show?
Dave Allen at Large? Nope, nothing. Wow. Anyways,
okay, good. I was just trying to figure out if I was really out of it, or
he lost his ring, his index finger on his left hand at a young age, and so it was just really telling. And he would always just hold a scotch, he would smoke a cigarette, and he'd just tell jokes. And it was jokes like like a woman's laying in bed and with this man, and she's like, oh God, I don't know what I'll tell my family. This is so horrible. You took advantage of me twice. How am I going to face my family? He goes, twice? We only did it once. She goes, you're going to do it again, are you? And like those kind of jokes, like baughty Irish
and it's
jokes.
a guy sitting there by himself?
Yeah, by himself, and sketches in between on occasion. The best one ever being I think the longest sketch I've ever seen in my life, which was 2 guys burying a claymore, burying a mine, like a trip mine, and they dig a hole really carefully, and the guy walks out really slowly, and he puts the mine in the ground. The other guy picks up the dirt and just pours it over the top of it really carefully, and then without thinking, he just goes, duh, and taps it right on the top. And that's the end of the sketch. It just blacks out. And it took forever. It was like 3 minutes. And the only thing at the end was, duh. He just taps it with his spade, and that was hilarious.
See, and you're listening to it on the radio.
Right, exactly.
And it's a television show.
Yeah.
So they were doing it all in costumes and everything like that.
Oh, it was brilliant. And then the other, I was
But the thing the reason I think that's kind of interesting is because I want to ask you about Twitter.
Okay, sure.
Because we're on Twitter.
Because that's when Twitter first made its way into the lexicon.
But it's like we grew up in this crazy. We're about the same age, right?
Yeah, I'm older than you.
Yeah,
you're my junior. But yes,
yep, you're a little bit older than me.
I am older than you. Yeah.
Yeah, 2 years older.
Mm-hmm.
But you know,
I see you looking at my date of birth,
September 25th,
and doing math.
1969. Yes. Mm-hmm. See how quickly I subtracted 69 from 71. It took me about a few seconds, but I got it
exactly.
Yeah.
Started to get a vein on the side of your temple, like
yeah. What 71 minus 69?
Yeah,
2 years older.
Thud.
You're 2 years older.
Yes.
And then I had to think about for a second whether you are older, right? 2 years older, yeah.
You're 69, yeah.
Yeah. Math is, I'm not good at the math.
That's
is not
okay.
good.
I thought Canadians were more educated than we were, but I think maybe it's just on certain subjects.
Yeah. No, I had troubles up there, in school. Skipped a lot of classes.
We didn't have a color TV, so that stunted your growth.
Yeah, I skipped a lot of classes and spent most of my time on my skateboard and stuff like that.
Sure.
Failed a lot of classes.
As you do.
I did well until high school.
Mm-hmm.
Actually.
Okay.
Then in high school,
testosterone kicked in, and
This isn't about me, Hal. Though we gotta get back to some questions. Here.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes.
And we're gonna take some questions from the studio audience tonight as well.
They're chomping at the bit. I can tell.
Actually, to be honest with you, I just realized that this I don't even think should be called a studio audience. Mm-mm. I don't think you are a studio audience. Actually, I think it's our live audience.
Just our live audience, theater audience.
Our theater audience.
Yeah.
Our theater audience here in Los Angeles, California. Give yourselves a hand for a second, just so everybody
at home can hear you.
Yeah, that. See, we have a real
live from the SModCastle.
Yeah.
On Santa Monica Boulevard.
Yeah. So so
we're by the way 3 blocks from where Eddie Murphy picked up the transsexual.
Really?
He was there.
Really?
She's here tonight. Yeah.
3 blocks away.
I don't know how he fell for it.
Now, do you talk about these kinds of things in your stand-up act? These kinds of sort of tabloidy sort of stories that happen? These things like the things that are going on TV?
No, because it just becomes it's too temporary.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. I think if you're gonna make anything worth recording, it should be more direct. I think you should deal with the root of whatever issue. If you're talking about Lindsay Lohan and stuff, that's symptomatic, but it's not going to change anything. And in 3 years from now, somebody listens to that comedy record or sees a tape of that show, it's going to be like, who is that? I don't care.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. So you have this is your new show coming out, right?
Yeah. Look at that.
Hal Sparks, Charmageddon.
Yes, my DVD. You can see this at home on the podcast. This is my I guess technically it's my second special. It's the first one that aired on Showtime, though. This is my first one that actually made it to the screen. The first one I did myself. Yes, very exciting. The first one I did myself at Cobb's in San Francisco, which is a great club. You've played there. Mm-hmm. Yep. One of my favorites in the country. And then this one we did at the OC Pavilion in Orange County. And the exciting part about this, aside from having a set, was getting to get quotes for my DVD box. I was very excited this time. I wanted to get some quotes from people.
Yeah. What are some of the ones you got? What are some of the DVD box quotes you got?
Well, I got one from Weird Al Yankovic.
Oh, cool.
And that was a dream one. I remember being so tepid asking him to write something right. I was like, would you mind, Al, if you would do it? So nervous.
Yeah, I got very nervous when I got the opportunity to meet him, too.
He's a sweetheart.
We grew up listening to
Totally.
Eat It.
Yeah.
Eat It was you hear, that's, again, you didn't have TV. I had the black and white TV. Eat It was playing on the radio.
We shared that.
Yep, absolutely.
So his quote was, Hal Sparks is so amazingly funny, insightful, charming, witty, and talented, he makes me want to throw up. And but the production company wanted to take the he makes me want to throw up part off.
The punchline.
Yeah, exactly. They produce comedy DVDs, by the way.
That's how it always tends to go, though,
right?
Isn't it? Yeah.
Michael Ian Black wrote Hal Sparks is funny, fearless, and ferocious. He's the white heavy metal Chris Rock.
Yeah.
Which was lovely. And Chris Hartwick gave me a quote which is very long. But my favorite one is Dave Hill. Do you know Dave Hill? Dave Hill has a show called The Dave Hill Explosion, and he's brilliantly funny and a dear friend of mine. And I think he's performing at UCB tonight. And I called him up and I was like, Dave, maybe a lot of people don't know you, but I have a lot of respect for you as a comedian, and it would be really great if you would give me a quote from you to put on my DVD. And he said, I don't think a quote from me is going to help you sell any DVDs. So if you look on the back of the DVD, it says, I don't think a quote from me is going to help you sell any DVDs. So
I think it will.
Yeah,
I think it will.
I was very proud of that.
That actually, I think, is going to, because you put that on there, it's going to flip over.
Yeah. And one of the special features is fans, which I don't know how that ended up being the thing in there. But
so what are you angry about this? I mean,
I love it. I'm very proud of it. Actually, that was a one-nighter.
I think it's a great looking DVD.
Yeah,
you wouldn't be worried about the quote on the back there.
No, I loved it. It was a one-nighter. It's not like I did 5 shows and pieced them together. This is, what you see is what you get, and that's what feels good about it, is that it's very indicative of an actual show.
Is it hard to shoot a show and because you're touring around, you do the show, and then you got to do one show, and you got to make it all. I mean, it's different every time when you do stand-up, right?
Yeah, for the most part. I try to build a show. I come from kind of the Carlin school, and that I really think you should develop a show. You should really write something. The people have paid money to see you. You should actually show up with a show. You can't wing it and go, well, the 8 o'clock was shit, but the 10 o'clock will be better. The people at the 8 o'clock paid just as much money, and there may have been more of them at the show.
Man,
so
you're really making me think about Minnesota this weekend, actually.
They're really nice up there. They'll just be really happy you're there.
I did have a crazy 10 o'clock show.
Did you?
Yeah. But that's what I'm saying is they can be different every time. So it's a little stressful when you got to, now we're filming this one, we're documenting this one, it's going to come out on television.
Yeah. Well, there was, the one, at this point I had one joke I left out. And they said, if you want, since we're taping, you can pick it up if you want. You can literally come back out on stage and do it, and we'll just put it in. And at the end of the show, it went so well that I just kind of went, fuck it. I'm not going to walk back out there like a dickhead and go, hey, everybody, thanks for the round of applause. Remember when I was doing that joke about drinking? And there was one line I wish I could have can you guys sit back down? I just felt like an asshole. So
you made it about what it's, but that's good because, people I think will appreciate knowing that because, it's not some, that's what you want to see when you're watching a stand-up show, I think, a DVD. You want to feel real, live, the old school stand-up DVDs. It's not overproduced. So
exactly. There's one little chunk they cut out of it because they couldn't clear some of it.
Yeah.
I have a bit about how grunge is the one good thing that AIDS gave us, and I had to. It's true. Well, it's true. I mean, if you think about it, it's AIDS is the only explanation for why music made a left turn in the early 90s. It literally, because one day we were like, don't want nothing but a good time. AIDS, I seem to recognize your face. It's the only way you could explain the biggest, you know what I mean? The kids all call him Way Cool Jr. AIDS, Jeremy Spoken.
I don't know if that...
Pour some sugar on me, AIDS, rape me. Rape me again. So, anyways, they couldn't clear the songs, so I just kind of have to sing them to get the point across. Well, but I think it's an excellent point. You tell a generation of 13-year-olds that sex equals death, and you're going to get some depressing fucking music as soon as they learn to play guitar.
Yeah. So who is your audience when you do stand-up? Is it made up of people from all of your different shows? Is it an interesting cross-section of people? Is it stand-up audience? How does that work?
It's very odd for comedy club guys because they're used to stand-ups with stand-up fans. Yeah. That's pretty much it. You go see Doug Stanhope, you're not seeing man show fans. You're seeing people. You all right? I
shot water in my eye out of my boxed water. I've been drinking this water. I set the water down. The water shot up in my eye. I wasn't going to say anything about it.
That's the problem with the box design. That's why it didn't take off.
Yeah. But okay, so no, but I guess the thing is because I want
Yeah.
I first knew you on The Soup. You were on the Talk Soup when I had my show on MTV.
Right, I know.
And I love that show. And
we used clips from you all the time.
And it was hilarious. And it was and
I did a spoof of you called The Ron Green Show.
Yes, I remember that. Yes,
where I roller skated down a hallway in an old folks' home, hitting people with a bat.
Oh,
remember that?
I remember that. Yeah.
And I was just
Yeah.
whacking old people and just knocking them over
Oh,
and going,
yeah,
these
yeah.
people are old. Why are you so old? What's your problem that you're
That's
old?
right,
These
that's
people
right.
are old.
Yes.
And that was my impersonation of you. And it was the Ron Green show. Yeah. Right.
That was awesome. And we were both in New York at the time, I think, right? Or you were in New York?
I was here.
Okay.
You were in New York. Where
But we would watch that show every day to see
if you made it.
Our bit got on the show, because it's the funniest thing about Talk Soup, and I really,
back in the day. Now it's on once a week, and it's kind of
It was a very big
Good
deal,
show.
that show for me at the time, because when I first went on MTV, we had been doing the show for years. We had all these bits that we'd done, these crazy bits, and MTV didn't want to air half of them. And I would argue with them to air them, the grosser ones or the more ridiculous ones or whatever.
Turd on
and
a
I would
microphone.
I would argue. Eventually, they'd let me put
Goat on a Runway.
one on, and the one they never wanted on was always the one that you guys would feature.
Absolutely, yeah.
Which was great, and then they liked that, and that helped us out a lot. Helped me out a lot. Helped me win some battles. Actually, they started listening to me a little bit more.
Right.
After you guys would, because you would air it, and you weren't saying they were bad. You were saying like they were funny.
Right.
It was the clip of the week and all this stuff.
Exactly.
And I'd go and I'd say, look, it's the clip of the week.
Fuckers.
You told me not to air.
Nobody would like this.
Sucking milk out of a cow's udder or whatever it was.
Exactly. Why wouldn't somebody love that?
Yeah, exactly. So, I thank you for that.
Absolutely. I feel some way I shepherded the end of music videos on MTV, and it's like, wait a minute, maybe we should just play wacky people doing random shit.
Yeah. No. That's what
And
it
why
should
pay
be.
comedians when now that Tom Green's moved on, let's just get random fucks from all over the country and just put them in apartments and put them in RVs.
Yeah.
And, great.
Exactly.
That's my fault.
So when you're at your stand-up shows, there are a lot of people from Talk Soup, a lot of Queer as Folk fans, a lot of fans of movie
A lot of
appearances.
Dude, Where's My Car stoners.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of Dude, Where's My Car stoners.
Yeah.
I was thinking there might be
I get the
you can tell who those people are.
they yell Zoltan, and then they stand up in a group and do the hand signal. They do that.
That's
They
cool.
do that. Yeah, the Z hand signal.
So the question
Which
I
I
have
created, by
is,
the way, but
do
never
they
mind.
do they all laugh at the same stuff? What?
It's true.
You created the
I
Zoltan
did.
symbol?
There was a bet on set, like who could come up with, because they didn't know what the symbol would be. They wanted it to be like a Vulcan thing. They weren't sure what the symbol was, but they wanted everybody to do a hand gesture whenever they said Zoltan, but they didn't know what it was. And so it was $29.75 to whoever comes up with the thing. And the first one I came up with was two Spocks together like this, which you can't see at home, but trust me, it's awesome.
Yeah.
And that was the Z initially, and it was too complicated though for everybody to fire this and because you cut your own hand with your fingernail or whatever. So I just simplified it and touched the thumbs and made it.
Nice,
yeah. So
That's cool. It's like a Zorro with a Spock
exactly right.
thrown in. Is that the first movie you were in, or
No. The first movie I was in was I was in a movie called Chopper Chicks in Zombie Town in 1988 with Billy Bob Thornton and Martha Quinn.
Okay. Wow.
Yeah, and that's where I met Billy Bob Thornton, and I went, who the fuck is this untalented, ugly fuck? And who's rude and drunk all the time.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, and apparently
Tell me how you really feel.
No, and apparently he looked in the mirror on that. If you listen to him tell the story, he looked into the mirror while he was doing that, going, "Who is this untalented, drunk, ugly fuck? If I don't do something with my life, I'm going to be a B-movie asshole for the rest of my life." And that's apparently how shitty that movie was his impetus for doing Sling Blade. He stopped doing movies for a while and started doing, some people call it a Sling Blade, the one-man show.
Okay, yeah.
Right after that, and the star of it was. Ed Gale was in it, who was Chucky. He was the midget, the dwarf who was Chucky. Did the longest dwarf burn in history. Where he was in a suit on fire.
Okay.
He had the stunt record for that.
They
At the time.
lather him up in some sort of silicone
goo.
gel and
right.
wrap tinfoil
lather
around
up
him
your
or something.
dwarf and set him on fire.
Wow, yeah.
Get the fuck off the runway! And
So he's a stunt dwarf.
stunt dwarf.
They
And-
wrapped him in tinfoil, or is it like a
No, he
I
wasn't
guess
like
that wouldn't-
leftovers
that-
or whatever. Yeah, I'm sure that's what they planned for after.
baked potato or something?
Exactly.
You don't want to use
No, he was in a
tinfoil.
Chucky outfit,
Yeah.
covered in grease, and then they lit him on fire and
Yeah.
for like 9 minutes.
Wow.
Or something. And like said, cut like 7 minutes before, but they just kept. Anyways, so I was in that.
Glad he
movie.
survived that, though.
Yeah, me too, because he's a hell of a guy.
Yeah.
So we did that, and Martha Quinn had a bit part in it, and who else was in it? Fuck. Yeah. So, anyways,
but I wanted to talk about Dude, Where's My
Sure.
Car? Because that was that must have been a lot of fun to make. That
it was.
one.
It came out the same weekend that Queer as Folk aired, December 15th, 1999. They both came out.
Yeah.
Or 2000 rather. It was a big deal because it gave my parents something to go see instead of Queer as Folk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Did your parents have a hard time watching you make out with? You had to make out with a lot of dudes.
I
in,
had
Queer as
nude
Folk,
scenes
right?
and simulated sex. And
I wanted
all
to
that kind
talk
of
about
stuff.
this. We were going to talk about that Queer as Folk.
Sure,
but
I remember that weekend when it came out, my dad. I called my dad, and it was Sunday. I called him Monday. It was on Sunday night, and he goes, I go, so what'd you think? And he goes, we didn't get a chance to watch it. We were up there, we were driving back, and we just got things were, and we taped it though. And we're gonna sit down. Carol and I, as my stepmom, Carol and I are gonna sit down and watch this together tonight. And so I'll talk to him. I call him the next day, Tuesday, and I go, did you watch it? And he goes, well, what's funny is we got off work and we're both too exhausted and we didn't want to fall asleep in the middle of it and we wanted to watch the whole thing and so we're going to watch it tonight. And I called him Wednesday and the next day and I go, did you watch it? And he goes, Hal, I got to tell you, we are so proud of you for taking a risk and doing something that other people wouldn't do, and it's very brave. Did you watch it? No, we're gonna watch it. True story. No, we're gonna watch it tonight. And he finally.
But he knew what he was about to watch.
Oh, totally. That's probably why they were. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, now, so what was that like to do that? Because you'd never I don't know how to ask this properly, but you
never kissed a man
you're
before?
a straight guy,
yes.
right? You're a straight guy. Mm-hmm. You like girls, right? Al,
quite a
you like
bit.
girls,
Yeah.
Al, right? No, I'm just kidding. But the thing is, and then you had to play this gay character, and actually, that must have been kind of pretty interesting to try to pull that off. And
yeah, I'll tell you what, it gives you a sense of perspective on two types of people.
Yeah.
One is gay men who are in fake relationships or had to pretend to be straight for years in Hollywood their whole time, who did scenes with women and it never changed them. Rock Hudson never became straight because of the multitude of women that he was with in movies. That's not going to change who you are. And the second is I had more in common at that moment with an actress than I had with an actor, because a lot of actresses in Hollywood, week after week, month after month, movie after movie, are forced to pair up with some dickhead who's going to try and pick their lock this week. And like, yeah, I'm doing a scene with Bullock this week. I'm going to try and slip her like that kind of...
Right.
Like, literally there are actor dudes who kind of, notch their belt on, I've made out with her, and you start getting what those ladies go through.
Yeah.
You have a lot more respect for how hard it is for them.
You felt like the lady.
It's
in
true.
Some of these
I did.
movies.
Yeah.
You were being ravaged.
Yeah, right. Well, I was always I'm diminutive.
Uh-huh.
So I'm 5'8" and $150 fully clothed, soaking wet, and the guys they would pair me with were like these pituitary cases who were like 1.5 feet taller than I was. So I was pretty much girly size to them. And one guy was straight, one guy was not. And then there were guys in between the two major relationships I had on the show. And so it was I got it was actually harder to work with another straight man than it was to work with a gay actor, because the gay actors, I think, had a sense of seriousness about the project where they really wanted it to come across as good, and it didn't matter that I was straight, it was just about the work. Whereas
they probably want to try to turn you too, which is exciting for them as well a little bit, right? That ever happen? You ever get the sense they were trying to turn you around?
No. That doesn't happen.
No?
No.
Okay, all right. I don't want to ask bad, dumb questions here.
Too late.
Yeah.
I'm sure. No, I'm kidding. Gay people aren't interested in turning you. I'll take that back. They are. There may be some that are like that, but it has less to do with being gay than it has to do with being male. Because men will look at women they can't have and go, "Yeah, she just wants me, man." That's and it has nothing to do with gay. Like, men are just like that. Men are like, she's going to be mine, he's going to be mine.
Okay.
I can make them like me, even though I don't deserve it. But yeah, so it was easier actually to do scenes with the gay actors in a lot of than the straight actors who were squeamish.
Yeah, right, sure. They were
And
probably
we're like,
a lot more comfortable making out with you than a straight actor would have been.
Right, and so
It's odd to
it
me
was
that
over
they would
like
have
that.
cast straight actors.
Well, they can't ask. I mean, it's technically the kind of discrimination you're trying to get rid of. If you ask people what their sexuality was, it's that you're committing the same crime, essentially.
I see.
You're discriminating against someone based on their sexual preference, instead of just taking who the best person for the job is. And ultimately, believe me, there were people who had problems with it. I remember very distinctly, there were some gay extras on the show when we were filming this big scene, and they were in the nightclub in the very beginning. And they were saying not only should there be no straight guys on the show, but there shouldn't be any fish either, which was their word for women. There should be no women in this show at all. Like, not the lesbians on the show, not Sharon Glass, no one. Like, they were really, angry and weird about it. And like, I can't fault them for that, because it's, this is your first shot at a show that's really about your life to some degree. I can't even pretend to know what that's like. So you got to kind of be forgiving.
So yeah, I find this interesting. This is something that I don't know if you've I've never talked to you about this before, but so when you do your show, you must have a large gay following that comes to your shows because they love the show Queer as Folk, right?
Sure, but I think
do they a lot of them not know that you're straight and then find out and
No.
most
Most by now they know. I mean, I made a specific point when we were doing press for the show that everybody know I was straight, and there was some people thought it was because I was homophobic. I'm like, yeah, I would take Queer as Folk because I'm homophobic and shoot all those scenes when I'm homophobic. But the point was, I wanted to make sure there's a group of people who want gay people to think that every person who would help them is actually gay. That no straight person would be an ally to the gay community. He's just in the closet. He's queer. He hasn't come out yet. Nobody would want to help you if they were. And there's a big sort of political and social push to make people believe that only gays would help gays, and if you like the gay cause, you're helping the gay cause, you're gay yourself somehow, and you're just lying or whatever. So it's very important for me to be very distinct and open about my sexuality, and that the fact that it's never going to change because I am who I am, and neither are they. So
cool. Okay, so when you're doing your stand-up show, you got the Dude, Where's My Car? Kids, you got the Queer as Folk people. Is there a way do they all laugh at the same stuff?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's your responsibility, is to find the bridge.
I mean, I'm not even saying like do gay people laugh at the same. I'm saying like that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying like the audience, the audience from
Queer as Folk.
From Queer as Folk and from Dude, Where's My Car? And Talk.
Well, the Dude, Where's My Car people are stoned. They'll laugh at anything.
Distinct people coming in. What's that?
The Dude, Where's My Car people are stoned. They'll laugh at anything.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. And you got the Talk Soup. I guess the Talk Soup crowd was pretty stoned too, probably.
Quite frankly, biggest part of my audience is the VH1 crowd. VH1, the I Love the 80s crowd. Because as much as Queer as Folk was on, 25 million viewers on Showtime, 90 million people have basic cable with VH1 on it. And they air the shit out of those things. So they're on all the time. You have to want to see Queer as Folk to see it. You have to either buy the DVDs or have Showtime, and you got to sit down and watch it. You can stumble across I Love the 80s almost all the time. So those shows became the pivotal audience thing in a lot of ways, ironically enough.
And then and there's now you're in a heavy metal band.
This is true.
I personally really love the original name of the band, the Hal Sparks Experience 2 Electric Boogaloo.
No, that's somebody fucking with Wikipedia.
Oh, is it really?
Yep.
Okay. I was wondering if that might have been a little...
it was originally the Hal Sparks band. I was just touring around and doing Hal Sparks because I'd written some songs, and I just went, I'll just perform. I'll put a band together, and it'll
there
just
was
be
never
just
a Hal
me.
Sparks Band 2 Electric Boogaloo.
No, somebody was,
I like that title.
Yeah.
If
it was, it would be a different set of music. Yeah. It would be a different kind of music. Yeah.
But it's 0.
01.
01, yeah.
Yeah.
01. And it's heavy metal.
It is.
And do you wear a wig when you do the show? But I saw a video of you wearing a long, or is that actually
that was my hair?
Your hair was that long?
Yeah.
I never remember seeing you with hair that long before.
Yeah, the last 2 years I had hair down to my shoulders.
Really?
I did 2 features with long hair.
Wow.
At the house that Jack built, and Extract, the Mike Judge movie.
Okay.
I had my hair long for both of those.
Wow.
These days, I will be mohawking it when we tour live. A more adaptable metalish hairdo.
Really?
Yeah, it's true.
So you can go from when you stand up, you grow in the sides.
Yeah,
Metal,
and
you go.
because
more
you can't be too
adaptable.
severe when you're doing stand up. It's just too distracting.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I think Emo Phillips is as weird as you can go hair wise, and then you just never recover.
So you're going to get mohawk, and you're going to go on tour with a heavy metal band this summer.
In the spring, yeah.
That's got to be. Have you done a lot of touring with the band, or?
Not with this lineup. This is a whole new lineup of guys. So I'm excited to do shows with this. Yeah,
because that's got to be a lot of fun getting on stage with
it's
a
awesome.
heavy
Actually,
metal,
I think
with a heavy metal band.
I'm gonna be the first person at Download Festival at Castle Donington in England next year to both do the stand up stage and music at the same festival, same metal festival. Yeah, which is awesome.
How do you feel about all these? I don't know. I don't want to get serious in the show. We talked enough about there's
Yeah.
you have a huge audience from Queer as Folk, and there's all these videos being made today to support these
absolutely.
homosexual kids who are having
there was
problems. Right? What are we doing here?
Have
you made a video like that yet?
I haven't, because those videos I've been promoting them. Dan Savage has a thing called "It Gets Better," where gay people and lesbians and bisexual and transgender people in the community are making these videos for kids who are questioning who they are or are finding out their sexuality and are feeling alone and are scared and are being bullied or whatever. And so they're making these videos letting them know that after high school it gets better. And Dan is pushing this thing. So I'll Twitter it and I'll promote it or whatever. But since I'm straight, it doesn't seem appropriate. I've done other stuff. I've done videos and stuff for the Trevor Project, which is a suicide hotline for LGBT and questioning youth and those kind of things.
Yeah, cool. Okay.
But yeah, I mean, it wouldn't make sense for me to do that.
So let's take some questions from our
Wow.
theater audience.
Very exciting.
Tonight. We have John Schneider here as well. John, stand up,
It's been a
John.
good show here. Wow.
Yeah.
John Schneider. How you doing tonight, John?
Doing good. Doing good.
How's
Enjoying
everything
this-
out there in the
this
theater
course.
tonight?
It's nice. The seats are really nice. Not a lot better than the place next door.
Totally.
Definitely.
Yeah.
These
I'll-
are nice seats.
Drenched in wine and just
Exactly.
creaking while you're
Very
watching.
nice show. Very
Yeah.
nice show.
While
Have you?
people
It must be an enjoyable experience sitting out there. Is it?
is.
Watching
And when you come down and support
show?
This is amazing.
we have a great audience tonight. Great audience
Yeah.
came out. Lots of people
an
here.
attractive audience.
Well,
I do
I
say
know
so,
someone's
man.
got a good question. I know someone's got a good
Yeah,
question.
raise your hand if you have a question for Hal. Anybody?
Yeah.
Don't be shy. If you have a question, raise your hand.
If it
Here we
involves
go. We
a
have
goat
que-
or
Yeah, right
a,
down.
there we go.
In the front row, we have a
Right away.
question.
I feel like I'm in some talk show.
What is your name, sir?
I'm Josh Hopper from Boston.
Josh
Hi,
from
Josh.
Boston. Great. Okay. Do you have a question for Hal?
Yeah, so I saw you riding on the bike. I was wondering how long you've been riding and what drew you to motorcycles.
Oh, well, actually, I rode in on my Honda State Line. It's a 1135cc cruiser. I started riding motorcycles when I was a kid. I mostly dirt bikes, though. I raced motocross. When my dad lived in Florida for a short time, I used to go down and visit him, and then I would race motocross down there. But I didn't ride street forever. And then I do my New Year's resolution on my birthday. Like all my resolutions for the year, I do on my birthday because it's my new year. And last year, I had on my list for 5 years get my motorcycle license for riding street. And for whatever reason, I just hadn't done it. And I've had a bunch of other shit on that list, the bungee jumping and skydiving and all this kind of shit that I'd managed to do, and just had never managed to get my license. So my assistant Amy, her boyfriend is a big rider. He and his buddy trick out bikes, and they make these beautiful like bobbers and all this kind of shit. And she said, we can hook you up with the Honda, the Motorcycle Safety Foundation does this course where you go out to Pomona and 2 days, you take this course, and then once you take it, you don't have to take the driving test at the DMV. You just go in, take the written test, and bang, it's done. And I went, okay, fine. We're blocking off 2 fucking days. That's it. I don't care by hook or by crook. I'm going to do it. And so we went down. I took my cousin Kip and my assistant, and we went down and did like literally starting from scratch, sitting on a bike, on a big street bike, just letting the clutch out and rolling it up and back and all this just really basic shit. And And then at the end of 2 days, I felt really comfortable on that bike, and I've just been riding sort of progressively bigger bikes. I got my license in June, and I made a commitment. The reason I really wanted to do it and why it became sort of a big deal this year was because I had a Prius, and my lease was up, and I was not going to buy another gas car. That was my commitment. And so what I decided to do was set my car on fire.
Yeah.
And
your bike's on fire.
Yeah, right. My bike's on fire. And so I was like, you know what? I'm going to find some way to lower my carbon footprint and my gas consumption. And a motorcycle is a great way to do that.
Really? So you don't have any car now?
I don't have a car.
Motorcycle exclusive.
That's it. And so in December, I'm getting the Nissan Leaf, the electric car. But I said
That's what it's called, the Leaf?
The Leaf,
Wait,
yeah.
now there's a helicopter going over. Listen to that.
See, I told you it was a shit part of town. This is the theater district in L.A.
Oh, yeah.
Right, yeah.
The cops just went by.
Let's go see a play. How do you know what neighborhood it's in? Snipers. That's how you can tell you're in the theater district in L.A. So you can see the night vision goggles on the roof. You can just see the red dots start appearing on your chest, and you know you're at the ticket window.
You know what I want to do next week? This gives me an idea. Next week... This just gave me an idea. Next week, what we got to do is we got to pump in the sound effect of a police car going by. Then we'll pump in the sound effect of the helicopter going by, and then we'll have an actor run through here with a ski mask on and just run through the room.
Whoever the guest is,
Yeah,
just fuck
and then
with
maybe we'll have someone in a police officer outfit come in, fire a few blanks. Person can drop dead on the stage, and our guest can, of course, then...
and our guest next week, Edie McClure.
Yeah.
So that'll be fun.
Give somebody a heart attack. Yeah.
That's a goal.
So, yeah.
Now this is getting Tom Green.
Yeah.
Now you know it's a Tom Green podcast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we're going to start to get... We can get a little more experimental with the sound effects and stuff.
I've been riding about 3 months on the street. I've been riding dirt for a long time. It became very intuitive really fast. The funny part is, as soon as I told people, like, I'm getting a motorcycle, I'm like, I'm getting my license this year. Everybody was like, oh, don't. Don't. It's so dangerous.
That's what I was about to say.
Oh, you could die on a motorcycle or whatever. But when I told them at one point I was going to get a scooter, they're like, oh, that's really smart. That's a good idea. You'll save gas. That's good. You save on gas. But here's the thing.
Somehow having less power and crumbling easier between your legs makes it safer.
I know, yeah, I don't understand that. Because that bike I'm on is like riding a cruise missile. And I guess the argument is if you're going 200 miles per hour, your odds of survival are lower if you can only get it up to like 35. I suppose. But see, I would think, like, if somebody opens their door in front of me and I'm driving down the street, that bike is so big, I'm taking the door with me. Like, the door is coming off. Because that thing's a horse. But if I was on a scooter and somebody opened their door, you might as well just wrap me in tinfoil and chuck me down a hill.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because there's nothing to protect.
I've never ridden a motorcycle in my life.
Oh, yeah?
Just why I'm kind of curious about this.
We got to get you down and take the Motorcycle Safety Foundation course.
We'll
get you through the paces. You don't have to ride, but we'll get you your license.
It's one of the things I'm afraid of. You mentioned skydiving, bungee jumping. Mm-hmm. Bungee jumping I am afraid of. And
because you're afraid of... That's the biggest phrase. You ever see those where they take somebody bungee jumping for the first time?
Yeah.
They go, all right, you ready? Cool. All right, you set up, and you go, and then you have somebody waiting back. This is so fun. If you've never gone before, you take somebody for the first time, you let them go, and just as they're going, no, wait, it's not, like that, and you just yell. You just run, have somebody run up just as they're...
It's not. Yeah.
Yeah. Wait, it's not.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, yeah. That really improves the 7 second
they have
drop.
22 seconds of...
Wow.
Like,
that's a good. That'd be a good.
It's not.
That'd be a good YouTube prank.
Oh, it's brutal.
Oh my gosh.
My friends did it to me the first time. I did it off a bridge.
Yeah.
And I was standing. It took me an extra. And they're like, "Okay, we'll set it a let up or whatever." And one of my friends just runs up. It's not hooked. As I'm falling, just as I just tilt. Right at that moment where you just lose to gravity.
The meanest prank.
Oh my God!
In the history of all friendly pranks.
You're just Jesus Christ posing, and you're just all right.
No,
and you're having this
conversation. That is the worst thing you could ever do to anybody.
Yeah.
You would have a heart attack, and then you'd just be dangling there
Right.
dead.
You just ratchet your dead body up and have to drive back to land with you. And
Everybody, geez, I guess that wasn't that funny. Because I've would never bungee jump, and I always said I would never skydive, but I have skydived once. Skydiving? What is it?
Skydove.
Oh, what the fuck it is? Skydove? Yeah. Skydove?
I guess it would be technically
skydiving? Skydived? This is
Terrible.
This is a tricky one.
Yeah.
But so I did do that because I just didn't want to be the person on the drive home. I went out to watch a bunch of people skydive, and then they were all, and I said, I don't want to be the guy on the drive home. But
where everybody else is going, oh my God, it's amazing. I've learned so much about myself. And you're like, cool.
Yeah.
Once in your life, you find her. Just turn the radio up so you don't have to hear their comment.
Exactly. So you
Never
jumped
done.
out of an airplane. Okay, never. I'll never do that again.
No? Was it tandem? Did you have somebody else strapped to you?
Tandem, yeah.
Oh, sure.
There was a story today about a guy who got caught in a tree. It was like the first time he jumped not tandem.
Uh-huh.
And he got caught in a tree.
Uh-huh. And? He just got caught in a tree?
It sucked for him. I know, they lowered him down or something like that.
Eventually, they didn't just leave him there to dangle. Hey, man, sorry, tree rules.
So
if you get caught in a tree, we have to leave you there. That's the rule. Fuck you guys. No, we're serious. Look, kids, it's in the manual. I can't read it from there.
He dangled
Sorry,
for
man.
3 hours from 100 feet in the top of a tamarack pine. For 100
You memorized the details of this.
Feet. Actually, I just made up the kind of tree it was. I just thought it
pretty
would sound
sweet,
good
though.
if I knew the kind of tree. And I wanted to say tamarack. Pine.
Success.
So wait, but the motorcycle thing, back to that.
Yeah.
Okay, because so now how long have you been riding a motorcycle for? That's dangerous, Hal.
Since June.
That's dangerous,
Yeah.
especially when you're new at it. You know?
Tom, I have a clarification here.
Yeah.
You've had you're a dirt bike rider.
Yeah, I rode dirt bikes for a long time.
That's different.
Although there is a huge difference. There's two main differences when riding motocross versus street. Not the size of the bike aside, all that shit. One is when you're riding motocross, everyone is going the same direction. There is no one going that way, going past you on the left.
No traffic.
No traffic. There are no trucks. There's no nothing. And there are no assholes in minivans driving perpendicular to your pathway either. You know what I mean? So I've had bad spills doing motocross. I once laid at the bottom of a hill watching people jump over me because I'd locked handlebars with somebody else, and we both tumbled down the hill, and I was under the bike, and I couldn't get out from under it. And I was looking up above me, watching bike go, yeah, yeah, like that, just like
clambering for safety.
Yeah, well, and I couldn't move. And my big fear was the three assholes in the end who never jump.
Right.
I wasn't worried about the ones who were going to jump over me. It was the last three, and who were their dads made them ride. And they didn't really like it, and they just would go, and they rolled right over me.
The shitty motocrossers totally ruin it for everybody.
Right.
Especially
and they ran.
you.
Yeah, one of them ran me over, but the bike was braced.
He did run you over.
Yeah, he ran me over, but the bike was braced across me, so it kind of protected me. But he just kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that's the big difference. Is even though you're comfortable on a bike, it's that difference, that extra traffic and all that stuff. And I was like, I'm never going to lane share. I'm going to ride like a car. And now I'm zipping between cars and all that. Although my bike is fucking huge. It's a big bike. Those guys on crotch rockets and all that stuff. I love it when fucking scooters go by me. Just, I sit in traffic because my bike is too big to go in between the cars. They're too close together.
Was it a Harley?
No, it's a
Triumph?
Honda. It's a Honda State Line.
A Honda. Okay. Oh, it's one of those big ones with the radios on it and everything.
No.
Big giant radios.
Yeah, right. It's basically those ones that are two wheelers. Should be just a fucking convertible.
And it's got those giant thermoses
saddlebags
on
on the side. They got two coolers.
Yeah, you can bring lunch.
Right, and a sissy bar and a GPS and the whole
that's
deal.
fun.
It's basically like an RV as a motorcycle.
I always love that when I see those giant motorcycles that have radio speakers on it. And you think, could you even hear? Can you hear that?
Oh, yeah. You can hear everything. And you can smell everything. This is the one thing, something I learned that I did not know while I was riding a bike, is that you can smell everything. Like, I could tell, like, I've been behind cars and I'm riding and I'm like, that fucker is smoking pot. That fucking guy in front of me is smoking pot. And I'll lane share up beside him and look right down and he's fucking
Man, I wouldn't pull. I'd just stay right there in the air funnel there.
Just a free.
Yeah, I'd miss a few exits even probably.
You would definitely miss a few exits.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like I see people texting more often now. Like, because you're in your car, you can't really see into the side of their. When I'm riding by there, I'm looking down into their cars, and I'm like, you motherfuckers.
Right.
And that's why, by the way, street bikes are so fucking loud. That's why they, because you're just basically growling in traffic at people like, watch out for me, motherfucker. I'm on your left, you dickhead. Pay attention. That's really what you're doing. You're just revving your engine and making it make as much noise as possible. Because when that happens, what do you do when one of those bikes comes by? You're just always turning and rubbernecking.
You don't have a little horn? You don't have a little horn you can use?
I do, but it's pathetic.
Right.
You know, it's a giant bike. It's so fucking sad.
Right. So you're just revving it.
Yeah, so you just
More fun.
just flare it, and it just seems all mean, and people will split, you know, when they know you're there.
Now, are you one of these guys now that whips through traffic when there's traffic on the 101 and it's backed up, and you just are cruising through the cars?
I don't go really fast. I can't because the bike's too big.
Yeah.
But I'll cut through, and I'll do it in chunks. I'll do it like, okay, from here to this exit, or from here, like, you're nodding. Do you ride? You're nodding a lot. Do you ride? You guys ride? Yeah. It's it's a different experience. This is the other thing too. You start riding, suddenly you're part of a group. Suddenly you're riding down the street and you're seeing other people on a fucking gnarly ass bike that used to sort of scare you in traffic or weird you out, and now you guys are nodding at each other. You're giving the 2-finger down signal. You dangle your hands like that, and you kind of, yeah, exactly. You're putting your hand out because bikes all share this thing. They're all sitting on this fucking bike with all this decked out, and you could have a flame tank. It doesn't matter. And you're riding down this thing, and you're a badass asshole, and I roll up next to you, and you're like nodding at me because we're both like, I don't give a fuck how tough you think you are. Some cunt in a minivan could kill both of us just by texting. And so suddenly, you're both just... We share this. Me and Harley dude, who's been to Sturgis 15 times. We're both naked as the day we are born, as much as the rest of the world is concerned. And so it really is kind of an interesting community you find yourself in. Now, occasionally the rice burner guys will roll by and they don't give a shit about anybody. And so I understand how people hate them. And I only have some level of respect.
The guys with the mohawks on their helmets?
Yeah, on
the broom handles taped to the top of their helmet?
Totally.
Yeah.
And you know, they're on the Tron bikes, you know, they just zip through traffic because they're really light and and I respect those guys as riders, but a lot of times they just don't give a shit and they're just you know, and they're in their little groups and that's it. But the cruiser guys, man, and the people who ride like to work on your crossover bikes, ones that look like dirt bikes but are right on the street, all those guys, we're all in the same mental group. Just like, oh, but don't die today. Don't die, brother. Hey, man, see you later. Hey, don't die. Watch out for soccer practice. Like, that's your big thing. Like, you're this big fucking, like, for all practical, in your head, you're in the Terminator.
Right.
The world has come to an end. You have picked the vehicle of choice for Armageddon, motherfucker.
Yeah.
You could have a shotgun mounted on this cocksucker, and you're just, and yet at the same time, you're like, if some shithead in a Tercel pulls out at the wrong time, I'm eating it.
Yeah. That makes motorcycling sound a lot more fun, actually, to me. To me, it's like being a skateboarder or something.
It's exactly that. It's the same kind of like, hey, man, even if you don't know them, you're kind of in this clique. Even motorcycle cops. This is an interesting thing. I used to hate cops. I used to think I hated cops. I really don't hate cops. I hate cop cars. I notice when I meet cops in person, I kind of like them. But if I see a cop car behind me, I'm like, fuck you. Get away from me. Fucking asshole, I'm not doing anything. I became all guilty and defensive and stuff, and it's really the vehicle.
Yeah.
You know, the same thing with motorcycle cops. Like, I would see a motorcycle cop before I rode, and I would just like, dude, just drive away. I'm not doing anything. Leave me alone, you know. But now I see a motorcycle cop, and I'm like, I'm another rider.
You have a secret code.
Yeah, there's a kind of, you can nod at a cop. I've never nodded at a fucking cop in a cruiser before, but on a bike, I can nod at him, and he's with me.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, I know.
He's a biker before he's a cop.
Watch out for soccer practice. Woo!
Right. Now, but if you stepped on it and he'd chase you down, right?
You know what? I don't think
he wouldn't let you off. Did they let the bikers off?
This is my almost question for somebody in the audience. I ride like a motherfucker. I speed on that bike like nobody's business, and I'm invisible to fucking cops. They really don't think of you as a threat because, quite frankly, you're more of a speed bump to anything really happening.
You're really only endangering yourself.
Exactly.
So you're
Right.
saying you can speed on a
Bike more
and
often get away with it.
Or maybe
Yeah.
the radar detector doesn't pick it up.
Yeah, too small.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I definitely notice it. I can go right by a cop. I'm like, fuck, oh, I better slow down because I'm still in car mentality.
Are you going so fast that you're actually invisible?
Yes. You're on to me.
You got to slow down, man. I'm worried about you a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay, so what was Spider-Man? Must have been pretty fun. I want to talk about Spider-Man.
Spider-Man 2, yeah.
Yeah.
That was awesome. That was just, I wanted to work with Sam Raimi. That's like always been a dream of mine. I fucking love Sam Raimi. One of my favorite directors. Just his creative use of the camera and everything. This guy who will put a camera on a broom handle and put it on a wedge and then shove it in your face. Just shove the camera back and forth so it creates this effect. And he does all this in-camera shit. And it's just, Evil Dead 2 and Darkman and Army of Darkness and all this stuff. And like, awesome experience. And then I do the one lock-off scene in the history of his repertoire. It is, that camera does not move. I am in that elevator, patang, that's it.
So
The
you got
longest
to-
single shot in the history of Sam Raimi's film career.
You got to watch him doing a lot of big stunts and things like that. Did you get to?
No, I
see
got
that?
to see them film. They had, what's her name's? They had Mary Jane's apartment and then the big dinner scene in a subway car. And I got to see the animatic of the end fight scene before it was finished. And it was really cool because it was really choppy. Like they had whole sections of it done, and then they had sections of it that were like, they had two popsicle sticks with two like cutouts of Spider-Man and Dr. Octopus, and they were like, just for that section because it wasn't finished yet. And
Right.
one of them would just be a picture from like Us Weekly, like of Toby.
Right.
Just grimacing from Seabiscuit and whatever, and it was and then parts of it that had just been cartooned out,
Yeah.
and then a clip from the original 1960s comic book, like it's a swinging shot, throw that in there,
Yeah.
and then finally they put that whole that end scene I think is genius, and it's right out of a series of Spider-Man comics about the Juggernaut that I really love. That's where they lifted that from.
Must be kind of surreal to be in something of that magnitude, though. To see
It is.
yourself pop up on the screen and the insane.
Oh, totally. Seeing all because somebody started collecting on YouTube all the different language versions of it. So it's like in Hungarian and Polish and French and Japanese, and it's all the elevator scenes done in every language where they translated it all over the globe, and in Chinese and Russian and stuff. It's really fucking awesome.
Have you been to Comic-Con before?
Yeah. You know what? That year, I was home. I wasn't touring. I had a month off. It was July. I'm like, you know what? I haven't been to Comic-Con in fucking 4 years. And I love Comic-Con. I used to go all the time before anybody gave a shit who I was. And I was walking up the steps to the convention center, and I went, fuck, I'm in Spider-Man 2.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about it. And it was just, boom, just like everybody was up in my grill, and it was all, what's Spider-Man really like? Crowd. Dude, don't spit on me. I'll tell you all you want to know.
Yeah.
And then I went and I was there, and this guy, Dean Haglund, who was in the Lone Gunman on X-Files, he's a friend of a friend, and I know Dean fairly well. And I went down to say hi to him in the autograph lines. They have these weird things. I don't know if you've ever been, but you can go get autographs of people. Adam West will be down there signing shit or whatever, and they'll serpentine these people through, and you buy your thing, and they make a lot of money doing these things. And Aaron Gray was there from Buck Rogers, and I had this huge crush on Aaron Gray when I was like 10 years old.
Well, that was the girl in Buck Rogers.
I met her at a car show.
I remember her
in Louisville.
Yeah.
I got a picture taken with her, and I was like, "Who's this woman? I love her."
I remember her.
And she was in her Wilma Deering outfit. Fuck. Anyways.
But is that the outfit she wore on the show?
Yeah.
That was her character, Wilma Deering?
Wilma Deering on Buck
She
Rogers.
was wearing the tight
Yeah, she was wearing the
gray-
big Lycra thing, and she's
So the
posing
tight-
for pictures.
it's like it's actually
and
just
I was
a
9
wetsuit.
going, I think I've discovered something new about my body.
Yeah.
And so I'm standing there talking to Dean, and her line started to dovetail towards me. Like everybody was waiting in line to get autographs from her.
Right.
Just started breaking out of line and walking over, and that's how she's like making a living now.
Yeah, now she's
And
mad at you.
Oh, hated
Your
me.
childhood crush.
She had this horrible look on her face, like
Angry.
just of sadness and anger and disgust and who the fuck are you? And I felt I was like, I got to get the hell out of here. I feel terrible.
Wow.
And so I left and went inside and.
I figured it must have been an interesting experience going to Comic-Con because people that are into those comics are
I'm one of them.
Yeah, they're pretty
Yeah.
passionate about this stuff. They know every detail, every character, everything. Yeah. So
Which means that nothing will piss you off more than a superhero movie because they play fast and loose with those rules more than any other genre of film. Like maybe horror novels like Misery and The Shining being converted to film have more, just blatant blow-offs.
oh, you mean they're angry about plot points and things like this?
The first Batman movie with the Joker killing his parents. I'm sitting there the whole time going, Joker didn't kill his fucking parents. I'm sitting there with like 9 other nerds going, that's not how it went down. That goes against the entire notion of the whole plot. The idea was it was a random fuck who killed his parents. And so that's why he's not after for revenge on one guy.
Right.
He wants crime to stop. So
That's
he
why the
becomes
Joker-
a crime fighter because it didn't matter who this asshole was. And the minute they make it matter who that asshole was, the story dies, you fucking idiots.
Right.
Clearly I was at home there.
Yeah.
And
Some
yeah.
controversial statements you're making there.
Yeah, I have no tolerance for it. When they rewrite the mythology, what the fuck is the point? Make up your own hero then. Just go ahead. If you're gonna just retell the same, and then they always do the birth story over and over again. Oh wait, no, you're the guy that killed my dad. No wait, you're the guy. No wait, you thought that was the guy who killed your dad. I'm the guy who killed you. I ordered the guy to tell the other guy to kill the guy that killed your dad.
They changed the story in that.
All the time.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I mean,
It's like
look-
Dallas. It's when Bobby woke up. She woke up and Bobby was in the shower. Bobby Ewing, and it was all a dream.
And it was the dream the whole
It was a
time.
dream, yeah. It's
Yeah,
like-
and everybody went, "Fuck this!" But the
Yeah.
show was over, and they got
It's
you.
a Dallas
It's
reference.
like an M.
by
Night
the way.
Shyamalan. Yeah,
Reference to
Dallas
Dallas.
was a series for those of you in the audience that was.
I don't know if our audience is a Dallas.
Yeah, that went on during most of the early
remembering
'80s. It
crowd.
was its contemporary was Knots Landing. That was just John. That was just John Schneider. But yeah, so it was amazing to be a part of that, and it was amazing to get. That was the one time I think Toby was in the suit the whole time, like talking. And you can tell, by the way, because most of the time when he's talking in the suit, you hear this clear voice, this kind of superhero-y, I'm Spider-Man kind of voice. And then when he's in the elevator, he's like, because that's what it would sound like if you're in a fucking mask.
Right.
But they dub all the rest of it. But since it was
Right.
improv, they left it.
You can't hear him at all in there. That's the thing that you don't think about that when you watch the movie.
Until you're fighting crime and you're like, fuck, why didn't I think
It
of
sounds
this?
perfectly.
You know what? I gotta redesign this fucking suit. This is a mistake. I'm just saying.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like they.
It's probably better because it's really stupid to me when people look at fucking Superman. They can't tell who he is because his hair's parted on the other side. What the fuck is that? Yeah, Lois Lane, crack reporter, can't spot the difference between Superman and Clark Kent. Way to go,
Because
Snoop.
he's got a pair of glasses on, right?
That's yeah. Oh, the glasses is what did it for you. The #1 investigative reporter in Metropolis.
That
What
was
your
always
name again, Clark? Right. So yeah.
that was always a plot point that kind of bothered me
Oh.
as somebody that wasn't really overly into comic books, but still watched Superman.
Yeah.
I never did quite understand why she didn't recognize.
Yeah,
Clark.
Hey, why aren't you not? Oh shit, it works. That was like the new Batman, which I loved. Dark Knight. Dark Knight fans, did you guys like the Dark Knight? Yeah. One big problem with it, besides the fact that he talked like Clint Eastwood as he's losing his voice in the movie Bloodwork, which is where he got the voice from. In the same way that Daniel Day-Lewis got the voice of the guy in There Will Be Blood from John Huston. No, I'm an oil man, and this is my boy. Careful, Mr. Git, she's my daughter. Right. So, anyways. But in the movie, there's one big opening scene where the 4 Batman guys show up and they're all just wearing homemade Batman outfits. And the guy goes, "What makes you better than us?" And he goes, "I'm not wearing hockey pads." And in that moment, I went, you know what? Fuck you. The only reason you're not wearing hockey pads is because when your parents were killed, you were a billionaire. Thank you. You rich cunt. You're standing there. These guys are fighting crime. They've got more on the line. You're wearing bulletproof, super Kevlar and night vision goggles and ears that can hear like a mouse fart from 200 miles away.
Condescending.
And you've got fucking fucking boomerangs that come off your belt. This asshole goes out in his underoos and tries to fight crime, and you blow him shit? Yeah. Fuck you.
Just a
Batman. Now I'm rooting for the Joker. Fuck you.
Yeah. I agree with that. Just a rich fucking prick, right?
Yeah. Fuck him.
So what now? Yeah,
I'm going to give it up. Yeah, right. Never mind. Just drives me nuts.
So, you do a Ustream show.
Yeah.
In your home.
I do it everywhere. I do it on the road. I take it with because I do the Stephanie Miller show every Wednesday tomorrow from 6 till 9 a.m. on AM 1150. I do political talk radio, progressive talk. And then because of that, I got my own radio show out of Chicago. WCPT Radio is my home station and airs in a few other stations.
You do that out of your house as well?
I do that on the road mostly. I have a thing called a tie line that uses the Ethernet to do the radio show, so I can take calls and all that kind of stuff wherever I am. And then I Ustream it at the same time. I stream both of them. And they were so popular, I actually got poached by Livestream. And then Ustream poached me back.
Yeah.
They came to me like, hey, how can your numbers are really good. How do we get you back? And I'm like, I don't know. How do you get me back? And they're like, we'll build you an iPhone app. And I went, okay. So they built me an iPhone app, and it debuts this week.
I want you to show me how that works.
Yeah. Nerd City.
And you can get that on your website as well.
Yeah, HalSparks.com/Ustream. Stephanie Miller show is every day, but I'm on Wednesdays. They call it Hump Days with Hal. And I started on there because I'm a policy wonk. I read bills. It's like a hobby. And when it made me mad when the stimulus bill was coming out and the healthcare bill, and everybody was going, nobody reads these fucking things. Nobody has read this, blah, blah, blah. Okay, first of all, you all read it when it was marked up in committee. That's what committee does. They break it into chapters, and everybody reads it, and you go through the parts, and you break it down. So fuck you, everybody has read it. Secondly, it's 2,000 pages, but it's triple-spaced and full of graphs. Once you take the graphs out, which are repeating, it's about a 200-page novel. And if you don't give a shit enough about the 5 major bills that cross your desk, this is not, the one from the Schoolhouse Rock where we, put a stop sign.
Healthcare or something.
Yeah, it's healthcare. Yeah. It's the biggest reform of healthcare in 70 years. Yeah. Read the fucking thing.
Right.
Take your weekend.
How many pages is the healthcare bill?
Well, the healthcare bill itself is about 2,100 pages.
2,100 pages.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I could see that.
Meanwhile, these assholes are waving around Atlas Shrugged, which is 1,150 with like this, the type that big with 9
What
space
percentage
type.
of people, in Congress do you think read that?
Well, everybody on the committee who's in charge of it will have read the majority.
All the politicians who are arguing about it on the news every day. What percentage of those people who have these strong opinions about it do you think actually read the entire 2,100?
Out of the Congress, 60 of them.
60?
Yeah, out of 500 or so.
Right. And they go on the TV and they argue about it every day and they make us all believe we have to think this way or that way, but they haven't even read the fucking thing.
Right.
But you've read it.
I've read it.
You read the entire health care bill.
I read the health care bill. I read the stimulus bill. I didn't read the TARP, but because not all of it's available. But I read big chunks of it.
I've been seeing you on CNN a lot lately.
On Your Money, yeah.
And I think you do a really great job on there. And
I wrote the foreword to Christine Roman's book, Smart as the New Rich.
Yeah, it's really funny, but it's also, you can tell that you're informed. But to read the entire health care bill, I got to say that sounds like that's a quirky hobby you got there.
Well, it mattered because it was, it is, but it's, it mattered.
Yeah,
this is the first president to try to push this kind of healthcare reform in nearly 70 years.
Yeah.
And everybody else has tried and failed. This is actually what's going to go through. And everybody's talking out their ass about what's in it and what isn't. And, one of the things that people don't know is that in there is a provision that they can now add a public option can be created now based on this bill simply through reconciliation. It's now part of the budgetary process. It is now possible to have single-payer health care in this country because of that bill. If that bill hadn't been passed, still fucking impossible. But because of how this bill is worded, you can actually go in, and all they need is 51 votes if they can get it through, just like the way they do a defense appropriations bill. They can actually get that done. Without this bill, that never could have happened. And so as stinky as parts of it were, and as much as it felt like a giveaway to the insurance companies in certain areas, it was the biggest, sneakiest move that has happened in legislature in decades.
Yeah. Well, this is what I'm wondering, because how can you actually, in 2,100 pages, it seems like you could almost do a lot of that kind of sneaky stuff, right? Like, why don't they make them shorter? Do they have to
they
be
tried. I mean,
so complicated?
Right.
I mean, what could possibly be in 2,100 pages is what I want to know. I mean, I haven't read a 2,100 page bill before, but I mean, how can you process all that, and then actually, when you're done reading it, actually decide what is the right thing to do?
Yeah, it's segmented. It's a resource material. So it's in all honesty, if you were trying to redefine healthcare for 330 million people, all with varying diseases and different levels of sickness and different onset of that sickness, I would want the bill to almost be bigger.
Okay.
Defense Appropriations Bill is one of the biggest bills. It's about 4,500 pages a year. And a lot of it's marked up, and nobody bitches about that. Like, none of these assholes who are waving around the healthcare bill would ever come out and go, look at the Pentagon budget. This is bullshit.
Yeah.
None of them would dare fucking do that.
Yeah.
And it's twice the size, and it's every year.
Right.
And it's been that big even without the Iraq and the Afghanistan war. Mm-hmm. That's on top of that shit. So to me, it's disingenuous. And secondly, you're a Republican. You have guys that you appoint to 14 different committees. Every time one of these committees mark something up, you guys have meetings. Those guys on those committees come down and go, here's what's in the bill. This is what we fought for. This is what we got. This is what we lost. They all know what's fucking in the bill. And there's nothing, when it gets signed, it's not like, hey, we slipped that in and you never knew. That's not how it works. The one area where I think that happened was the Patriot Act. And I think it's funny that the assholes who are clamoring about healthcare being the biggest attack on freedom were nowhere to be seen when the fucking Patriot Act was being written and signed in the middle of the night. And so that's 3,000 pages long, the Patriot Act.
How many of these have you read, these bills? This is a lot of reading going on. Where 15. Do you find the time to 15. Do all this reading? On the planes when you're flying?
Yeah, or I'll take, especially if it's a big one, it'll take me a weekend.
It'll take
me about 5 days.
Is a little plot to maybe make people on the plane think you might be a senator or something as well.
Right, totally. Because that'll get you laid.
Reading the health care bill.
Yeah.
That must be on his way to
Who's
Washington.
that asshole reading the health care bill in the John next to me at Minneapolis Airport?
Craig Stevens probably would be who it was.
Yeah, sure. Larry Craig.
Larry Craig. I don't know.
Yeah.
I was trying to pull his name.
Tabitha Stevens is
your
thing.
Oh yeah, that's right. Larry Craig. Yes.
Larry Craig. Right.
That was the punchline.
The toe tapping.
The toe tapping congressman from Minnesota.
Right. Well, he wasn't from Minnesota. I forget where he's from, but he was in Minnesota.
Oh, he's in Minnesota. Right.
Yeah.
See, again,
special visit.
Trying to sneak it in there. But okay, well, that's pretty cool. So now let me ask you one last question about the healthcare bill then.
Yeah.
So since you've
while everybody's dozing off.
Yeah,
Sorry about this, guys.
Well, but people listening in their cars and driving around the world, all 12 of you. You may actually the podcast last week did quite well. We went up to the number 12 actually on iTunes. Number 12.
Right on.
Yep.
Right out of the box.
Yep.
That's great.
I don't know what that means, but Matt told me we went up to number 12. So
nice.
Is it true, or were you just lying?
Yeah, it's great.
That's cool.
Well, we'll get it back down to 35. Don't worry.
Yeah. It's a sliding scale. It's cool, but no. So. Because I actually want to know myself. So, is it working? Like they passed the healthcare. Is it actually working? Like when I still have to pay for insurance, right? As we all still
that never changed.
It kicks in soon, or when does it change? When is it not exactly the same as it was before? Because it seems like it's sort of
for a lot of people, it's not
the same right now.
A lot of it was implemented 2 weeks ago. Now, if you're under 26, you can stay on your parents' plan up till that age, and specifically, not being kicked off for a pre-existing condition is now the big switch. That if you come in and you're getting insurance, they have to offer you some sort of plan.
Right.
If you have
that really never made sense.
And they can't go back into your medical history and dump you once you get sick and say, well, you had a yeast infection and that's related to breast cancer, some circuitous route, and so we're going to dump you. The problem was before, it was like you were buying a car and you paid for the car for years, but you never picked the car up. It sat on the lot, and you said you could drive the car when you need it, we'll leave it here on the lot, and you just pay for the car. And whenever you need it, you come get the car. And then the day you come to get the car, they go, you know what? We don't think you're a good enough driver.
Yeah.
And they keep your money though.
Yeah, no, that's what
They kick you off the plan. They don't let you do it, but they keep your money. They don't go, oh, you know what? You didn't cross your T on this form. We're going to have to refund you all the money you've been paying in the last 7 years. If they were doing that, that'd be a different conversation. If they didn't do that, they would just kick people the fuck off. And so that's gone now. And that's one of the first things to implement. A lot of it doesn't go into play until like 2013 and 2014 because that was the deal they made to get a lot of it through.
Yeah.
Because people just didn't want, they didn't want that.
And by the time that happens, they'll probably have another bill to change it back to what it was originally, right? This is how it goes, back and forth, back and forth.
But no, it takes a lot to look at Don't Ask, Don't Tell and DOMA. I mean, it takes an act of Congress to undo these things, and it takes a lot of political will to get a lot of these things through. And if anybody's around who fought for that thing passionately,
they said they passed it today, or a judge actually implemented it today. And did it actually pass
today the judge found Don't Ask, Don't Tell unconstitutional.
Yeah,
and he found it 3 days ago, and he issued an order for it to stop being implemented starting today. That's great, except for. People can argue that it wasn't defended properly in court. And so let's say, we go, okay, he says you could serve openly. And so all these gay soldiers and lesbian soldiers come out and say, I'm gay, I'm lesbian, transgender, whatever, and I now should be able to serve openly. And then it gets overturned. They now have outed themselves. They have told during this thing, and you can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, as it were, and they'll all lose. It's the same reason why Obama won't just stop the people getting kicked out, because if they do that, it gives you lose the political will in the Congress to change it.
Right.
They'll just go, oh well, it's handled. Nobody's getting kicked out, and then the next president comes in, turns it back on, basically says, I'm rescinding this executive order, tossing it out, and then all those soldiers who thought they were safe lose their pension. They've served for another 2 years. Under the false premise that they should be able to do it. So it's really sticky. You have to go through the process. You have to vote, and it has to be kicked out. And that's why the health care bill, that's why the Republicans freaked out, and all the left were like, why is anybody giving a shit? There's nothing wrong. This bill's nothing. It's a giveaway to the insurance. It's not progressive at all, blah, blah, blah. Well, why are the GOP freaking out? Because they know in it is the seeds of a really progressive shift. And they're freaking out. They know the long game. So
it actually is working. The health care bill is working. Okay, I was wondering that, if it was working
especially
or not.
if you've ever been sick before,
Yeah.
and you've been paying insurance for the last 2 years, and you're worried that if you get sick, they're going to dump you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. I'm glad it's working. It's all so complicated. It's amazing that anybody can even understand anything. I mean,
ultimately, it should just be you get what you pay for, and that risk should be pooled. I mean, that's what insurance is, anyways.
So
yeah. Other than that, I have
are
no
you going to
opinion.
run for a political office, Hal? Is this it seems like you must be preparing for this. So do you want to make an announcement here today on my show?
Yeah, actually, when I'm 60 years old, I will be.
Is
running.
it something that you would be interested in, though,
Yeah.
later in life? I mean,
Yeah, I'll run
obviously,
for office at some point. It's more like civic duty.
Yeah.
I don't know. Oh, thank you. But I think I would be more comfortable in an executive situation than I would be in a legislative, being like mayorship or
President
or gubernatorial.
of the United States of America.
Yeah, sure. As soon as they let people who have mashup videos of them having gay sex on YouTube run for president, I will announce.
You could, yeah, okay.
Anytime, I'll be the first guy who's ever worn bubble wrap jumpsuit and black underwear
It could happen.
to run for. I know.
It could happen.
In 65 years,
Okay, cool. Well,
when I'm a head in a jar glowing. Yeah.
I look forward to that. Okay, so let's take a couple last questions here. We've had a pretty,
That was the motorcycle question.
one question.
That was a good question. Wow.
Thank you for your question about motorcycles.
Yeah.
We'll take a couple of
Come
last
on.
questions here, and
Yeah,
I want
you can do
to.
it.
We got a last question. Hold on.
Yeah, this is.
I think we've done a pretty good show here, right? This has been I'm not actually looking at the clock, but I did get a clock today for
I know,
the
I
first
appreciate it.
time.
It's the real
this
deal.
is something that you need when you host a podcast that
You'll
goes
find out
for
over
an
time.
hour.
Eventually, they'll mount it up on the wall, so
Yeah.
We can see it, but
Exactly.
It's
good.
Yeah, go ahead.
But
All
last
right.
week I lost a little. I lost track of time this week. I lost track of time last week. It's kind of a fun little world we've stumbled into here at the SModCastle. Been invited into. Thanks, Matt and Kevin Smith for inviting us in here. It's a kind of a fun thing, isn't it? Right?
It is.
You're sitting here. You're doing a radio show, but then you got all these like weird people looking at you.
Well, yeah, totally.
We had
And
a
one of them
question,
wants a
though.
question.
We had
One
a
of them-
question.
Yeah.
He has a question.
We had a question.
Yeah. He was all ready. He was
We're gonna do
standing
it.
up.
We're
and
ready.
Oh yeah,
everything.
yeah. Sorry, I was.
I want to
I
hand
was-
the mic here.
Yeah, hand the mic
I
over.
was curious about your band because I heard you do some singing earlier, so I was curious if you were the singer of the band.
I am the singer, and I play guitar. Yeah. I play rhythm guitar. You're actually sitting 3 seats away from my lead guitarist, Brian Crow, who's
Oh,
right
cool.
there, who is fucking awesome and is shred-tastic. Yeah, absolutely, brother. And is also a very funny stand-up comedian as well. That's
Oh,
how
really?
we met.
Okay.
And both big Kiss fans and both big metal fans, and appreciate the genre. But yeah, I sing. I grew up. I was in bands in high school. I was in a band called Seismograph, and that's serious. And it was a cover band my friend John put together, and everybody wanted to play guitar. Like it's a whole. That's what happens in high school. Everybody wants to play guitar. Nobody wants to play drums or bass or whatever. And then once you do manage to get those guys out of jazz band, you get a bass player who's got his dad's kind of 5-string bass, and you're like, we're gonna form a metal band, and then a jazz drummer, and then 3 guitar players, and nobody wants to sing. And so I was the only guy who knew the lyrics, and my voice at the time sucked, but I was the only I couldn't play an instrument. And then when the guys would take a break, I would just sit down and pick up my friend John's guitar, and I would just learn little pieces. I would just start picking up little things. And the first solo piece I learned was from Night Songs by Cinderella. The beginning part, the Tom Kiefer part of the solo before Jeff LaBar comes in, as most of you know.
How's that go?
Oh,
yeah, I
All right.
I like that. I
You
thought that
call
might
me
be
out,
some
man.
good-
I know it.
Yeah.
And then the other, I learned power chords from the A-Team theme.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah.
Yeah, so
that's cool. That's a new thing you could do at a podcast is do some vocal jamming like that. That's why I asked you. I wasn't trying to call you out on
That's
it.
good,
I
smart.
thought it might sound neat in the podcast because this is sort of an interesting thing. It's like, I've been doing the Webovision on my website.
Right.
We have cameras there. And initially, when we were going to do this podcast, we thought, hey, let's bring some cameras in and we'll film it. We'll put it on the web. And then, we realized
There's a
that,
purity to it.
that it's actually kind of more of, the theater of the mind. We're here.
Yeah,
we're doing
very Orson
radio.
Welles.
You people can't see us.
Yeah.
You guys can see us here in the studio audience, but we can actually
Became very present.
have some fun with that. So maybe we could actually do a couple more little game show theme songs. Or
I used to listen to, that's what I did grow up listening to was old radio. Because we didn't have TV. So I would listen, AM radio would play Night Beat and Suspense and The Lone Ranger and The Shadow. And I literally grew up.
Oh, that's Bonanza.
No, yeah, it's Bonanza. Bonanza.
I say Canadian.
Canadian.
I say
yeah.
the Canadian. Oh man, I've gotten called out in that so many times. It's actually
Bonanza
embarrassing
on your
to me.
Mazda to get some pasta.
Yeah, I say
pasta.
Bonanza, and I've been called out.
Your
and made
Mazda to get
I'm made
pasta.
to look like some sort of an idiot or something because I don't know how to say Bonanza.
Yeah, I love the Lone Ranger, and because I love the languaging of how they did it. Like how they spoke back then was so different from how we speak now. And the opening of the Lone Ranger was a fiery horse with the speed of light, a cloud of dust, and a hearty hi ho silver. The Lone Ranger. Yeah.
we know this
So
one.
William Tell Overture.
We know this one.
So, anyways, and then of course, who knows what evil lurks in the hearts of men? The shadow knows.
The Shadow.
Yeah, with his trusty companion Margot Lane. Anyways, really. So I grew up listening to that shit. That was And it was amazing. And I still do to this day. Like whenever I play Cobb's in San Francisco, I don't fly to San Francisco. I drive the whole way. It's a nice 5-hour drive. You get some time to yourself. By the time you get in and out of the airport, you have your car with you up there anyways. It's $45 a day to park, but other than that, it's awesome. And I get old radio CDs, and I listen to Suspense and Night Beat and Jeff Regan, Private Eye, which is Jack Webb's first series on the radio, who became the main guy in Dragnet, and
Okay.
It's amazing. Yeah. So, anyways, nobody gives a shit but me. All right.
No, I have interesting, weird things that I listen to. I want to listen to that though. I want to get into that.
I'll hook you up.
I want to get into reading the healthcare bill.
While listening to old radio.
No, I have
I'm
a lot of-
109.
No, I like old talk shows like Jack Parr and the Steve Allen
Sure.
Show and Ernie Kovacs and things like that.
You got to look up Dave Allen at large.
Yeah.
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 I keep praying for them. They have it on DVD now, but only in England. And I keep waiting for them to put it on Netflix just kind of randomly because they pick up some random shit.
Yeah.
And that's where I saw Let the Right One In. The first time was on Netflix. I'm like, you can always count on Netflix to have some odd shit. Did you
Yeah.
ever see Let the Right One In?
No.
Yeah. Do you guys know Let the Right One In? It's a Swedish vampire movie with an 8-year-old vampire. They're remaking it as Let Me In.
It was out this weekend.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
It's almost shot for shot, I guess. They remade it, but the original is just fucking incredible. And I wouldn't have known about it, but for the lovely people at Netflix.
How is it fun doing the CNN stuff? I mean, I think that's. I just want to ask you about that because I'm enjoying watching you on there. It's really
Yeah.
it's funny, but you're also you seem to know more what you're talking about than a lot of people on the panel.
That was the
sometimes.
thing. They brought me in originally as comic relief,
Yeah.
and I tended to do what I do here, which is filibuster. And I tend to, it's serious. It's, a lot of the conversation's serious. And I was on there. I was just meant to kind of joke around. One of the topics was kind of light, and so they brought me on. And then Richard Quest. Who's on there? Who's a British
I know who he is.
financier who's on there,
Yeah.
and he does their show. Said something that set me off about over-regulation. He goes, we don't want to snap back and over-regulate business as we try to recover from this. I'm like, motherfucker, that's not what we're talking about. I was so pissed off. I was like, that's not what we're talking about here. We're not talking about a couple people who couldn't afford their homes and it collapsed. We're talking about massive fraud. These rules they're putting in place are not against, I don't know whether I can buy 9 shares a week or 15. This is to keep criminals from, this is bank robbery, dickhead. And I was so angry that I was like, they're never going to bring me back on. I just shit all over Richard Quest while I was on there. And then they
I think
asked
you
me
did
back
that
to-
once in Central Park.
Yeah,
anyways.
right. Did he pay extra? Or?
Yeah.
So then they asked me on the very next week, and then Christine Romans is on there, and women should be running things, period, and they will be quite soon. Largely because there are 3 women graduating from university for every male that's graduating right now. The numbers are against us, guys, and conversation's over. And all the shit that men have been bullshitted, for the most part, not guys in this room, because we're in a section of Hollywood where it's not an issue, but most men in our culture have been bullshitted into thinking that their worth comes from 2 things: lifting things and beating them up. This is the 2 things. I pick that up. I'm a fucking man. I'll beat the shit out of that. I'm a man. Well, now they have machines to do both those things. We have machines to kill things and machines to lift things. We have totally outlived our usefulness, and you better get real charming real fast, or you're going to be in a battery cage being milked. There's no... all this bullshit male stuff is over. And when I go on there, I was never more in stark relief than when I talked to Christine Romans, who is very bright. And for the longest time, they'd have Ali Velshi, bless his heart, who's a smart guy, but they'd have him out front and her doing these little mini segments, almost like women are making money with cookies bullshit. And this woman knows more about economics than anybody in that building in New York.
Yeah.
And they kind of kept her back. And I started twittering about her going, I get to be on with the smart one. I get to be on with the smart one. I kept calling her the smart one.
So does anyone ever come in and are you allowed? They want you to say controversial stuff like
Sure.
that. Though.
Yeah, well,
does
that's
anyone
it.
ever come in from management and say, "Hey, stop, slamming Richard Quest," or
No, but you know what? John Klein, the head of CNN, I had a meeting with him about doing a show there, and he said, if we gave you a show of your own on CNN, let's just say, who, and by the way, he's not there anymore. Who would you think of as your political opposite that you would sit across, if you could sit across the table from somebody that you respect, that's your political opposite that you could have a conversation with? And I went, anybody who is my political opposite is an animal, and fuck them. They should be shot in the head, because anybody who's my actual opposite, we're talking, I mean, I take my politics so seriously, you'd have to be a Nazi to be my opposite. You'd have to be so dark and so like, women should be in the home pregnant and toothless, and you should knock your wife's teeth out so she's afraid to go out in public, and burqas, and your kids should be beaten, into submission, and gay people should be branded and put in prison. Like, I mean, that's my political opposite. Like, I go so far out on a limb with my beliefs that to be my opposite, you have to be
Sarah Palin. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean the Palin Republicans are that crowd, but I wouldn't sit across the fucking table from them. I wouldn't. I have no interest in somebody who has a conservative viewpoint, yeah. But most of those people have been drummed out of the GOP a long time ago, and they're certainly not part of that Palin crowd, and they're not my opposite. They're just people who have a different... We're both going towards the same way. We both want a good America. We both want people to be safe and happy and be able to have businesses and blah, blah, blah. That's what I want too. There's ways to work that shit out. Oh, thank you. But that's not what he's talking about. What he meant was Ann Coulter.
Yeah.
To sit on a panel with Ann Coulter and bullshit and pretend it's news. And my thing was, I can't fucking do it. I can't do it. And so I was like, I walked out of the meeting going, well, that's the end of that. I'm probably not going to be back on there anytime soon.
Right.
But they keep having me back on Your Money because Christine likes me and she's awesome. And she's a bright woman. And we're lucky that someone that smart is talking to people about money.
That's cool. Okay, let's take one last question. One
Yeah.
last question from the crowd, and then we'll call
You
it
can do it. Squeeze out.
Then we're
going to
go over to the three.
Something obtuse that has nothing to do with either of us.
Yeah. How about we take a question?
If it takes a chicken and a half, a day and a half to lay an egg and a half, how many times?
How about we take a question from you, sir?
Yeah, I got to be careful what I say, but
Yeah.
Rick Sanchez. Have you thought about...
right.
What about that? What
Neither
do you
one of
think
us are Jewish, actually, so I suppose...
What do you think about what happened with Rick last week talking about CNN?
You know what? I think he got exactly what he should get, and I don't think it was a mistake. And I think a lot of times, and this is like the thing with Mel Gibson. I was on Sam Rubin's show, Hollywood Uncensored, and he had this thing. His segment about the Rick Sanchez thing had a lot to do with Mel Gibson as well. He was like, why do men, in Hollywood or in the news, why do they start to deconstruct at a certain age? I'm like, he's not deconstructing. That's who he is. It just came out. You can't apologize and rehab that away. You were able to keep it under wraps, and then you became stupid enough in a moment of shared idiocy with some other fucktard who had a gleam in his eye like yours that you think you can get away with saying that bullshit. And this is not about being politically correct. This is about being an asshole. Most of the people who go, you know what, I'm just not a politically correct person, that's because they want to say the N-word. They desperately are angry that they can't say it anymore. To me, political correctness is politeness. I was not aware that calling you that may have upset you. Now I know you've set a standard for yourself. I can match that standard. That's political correctness. That's what it really is. Not saying the N-word when you want to until they're out of earshot is not political correctness. Not saying the Jews run entertainment when there are Jews around is not you being politically correct. It's you being a racist asshole and hiding it because you know it doesn't work for you. And that asshole just thought he was in a friendly crowd and started to tell his real truth. And you can't apologize that shit away. Fuck you. Fuck Rick Sanchez and his dumbass Twitter feed that he passed off as news for 2 fucking years, being the dumb guy on behalf of the American audience, which is sadly enough the 2 big problems that I think CNN had with their anchors is during their daytime they hire people to be dumb so you don't have to. I'll ask dumb questions because that's what we think. We think people at home are dumb, so we won't ask any in-depth questions. We'll have somebody, our anchor person who's easily confused, go, I don't understand. Now, when they call it top kill, no one's actually being killed, are they? You're like, okay, shut the fuck up. I'm dead serious. This is who they hired. And then they're surprised when a dickhead like that has a meltdown and becomes just... He God,
He had a couple of
he had-
instances of that. He said
he
something.
had it coming. He said all the there was two quotes. The big ones were
But
one
even
was,
a few weeks earlier, he had to apologize for another comment about the president. That he
right.
Yeah.
But he said that basically that Jon Stewart is a bigot. And that he has no right to claim that he's part of a minority because Jews run the media. And then he's shocked he gets fired. Like, go fuck yourself. Like, how? I mean, it's not even one of those, like, they ran me out of town because this town's got a tight ass. No. We all just now agree it's no longer cool to shit on people like that. There's enough of a minority base for a lot of people that they don't have to take your stupid shit anymore. In the same way the Cubans don't have to take crap, and he's gotten further in his life because people where he's from were protected in a way that they weren't pre-Scarface. Seriously, you know what I mean? Like, not that Scarface was the turning point, but that's the opinion of Cubans. If you look at Scarface, that's how most people. You're either with Castro or you're with the cocaine. This is, you know what I mean? And so he came a long way in his life because people went, you know what, knock it off. He may be a Latino, he may be from a Hispanic culture, but he's qualified for the job and he should get it, even though he wasn't. That's not because he was no less qualified than the other white dumbasses they hire in those moments. So to me, he had it coming. Mel Gibson, you can't. And that's not everybody at CNN. There's there's some solid people. I even think Anderson Cooper does a solid job. I'm not a fan of Larry King's. I think he's an entertainment reporter that somehow accidentally fell into politics and is so confused by it. Like, how did I end up being the person people think knows anything? Is amazing to him. Like, you can tell. Because he thought he'd be interviewing Rock Hudson, and like Jiminy Glick. I mean, literally, Larry King thought he would be Jiminy Glick late in his life. That's who he wants to be. Ask Mo Rocca. When Mo Rocca goes on there, he tries to dovetail Larry King into talking about, fucking like old Hollywood.
No, Frank Sinatra.
Yeah, get into a Jimmy Stewart story as fast as you possibly can, and he'll go off forever. But
Mo Rocca actually does that purposely.
He does it on purpose. Watch him when he's on there. He tries to top himself every time he's on. He would try to get Larry to go faster to a bullshit story about Lana Turner had a drinking problem. And they'll be talking politics and he'll bring it. Anyways,
I love that people now know this.
Yeah,
we can watch Mo Rocca.
It's like a drinking game.
Yeah.
But like Mel Gibson, there's nothing in alcohol that explains Mel Gibson at all. He may be bipolar. He may be a crazy person. But those beliefs are his own. He didn't come to the point that the Jews started all the wars in the world and deserve what they got and that they killed Christ and all that kind of stuff. He didn't find that weird theory at the bottom of a bottle. He got it from his father, and he held on to it in spite of evidence to the contrary. And so when he gets to that point, fuck him. I'm done. Sorry. You don't get that. And if I ever get to that point, I don't drink, I don't smoke, and I don't do drugs. I've never done any of that shit in my life. So everything I do, I am responsible for. So if you ever find me to be completely full of shit or a complete hypocrite on something, or I come out and just rail against a group for no particular reason, or I'm unfair in a violent way, I deserve to be called out on it. And I hope everybody does. I hope my Twitter feed looks vitriolic that day.
Yeah, and that's when you take a hit of weed, too.
But I don't... Do you? Is that how you solve your problems, Tom?
Is
that what does it?
Take the edge off a little bit,
Is that what it is? I'm all edge, though. That's what I run on. I run on edge.
No, I'm just kidding. Real quick, it does say though in your Wikipedia that you are a member of the Marijuana Project Policy Project.
It's true.
It is.
I am.
You are a member of the Marijuana Policy Project.
I don't use, but I'm on the celebrity board of the Marijuana Policy Project, and I advocate for decriminalization and stuff because as a progressive, as a Democrat, as someone who is a fiscal conservative who believes in the proper use of tax dollars, kicking sex offenders out onto the street to make room for nonviolent drug offenders is the dumbest fucking thing I can think of as far as a misuse of tax dollars.
That's interesting. I just assumed that maybe since you were on the Marijuana Policy Project bored, that maybe you might have smoked marijuana.
Never.
Cool to clarify
Not once.
that. Cool to clarify that. People probably don't know that. You speak Mandarin Chinese. Could you just speak a little Chinese for us before we go? And then we're all going to go over to the theater club. Speak a little Chinese for us before we go. Tell us what you think of Rick Sanchez in Chinese.
Oh, Rick Sanchez. 他是坏人，很笨蛋. He's a bad person. He's stupid.
Can you really...
Rick Sanchez, which means Rick Sanchez is beyond the normal level of stupid, which is one of the worst insults you can give somebody in Chinese. That's how sweet they are.
Can you actually have a conversation with someone in Chinese? If someone asked you in Chinese, what do you think of Rick Sanchez? You could tell them in detail.
Yeah.
Can you do that for just a second, and then we'll fade out and go get a drink? I'd like to hear that.
Hear my opinion.
Or talk about anything.
Okay.
Anything. Something motorcycles. Anything you just to hear you sort
我
of
最喜
spelt
欢我
some
的新的
shine-
摩托车，我的摩托车是很大的车，可是每天去我的摩托车。See, I can't when you're not responding back to me. I was like getting into a conversation about it.
Yeah.
But 我最喜欢开我的摩托车，可是我今年学习每天骑我的摩托车，可是我没有很多的朋友坐摩托车，所以我自己人开了，你懂不懂？
No, I know what you're saying.
Okay.
Because I actually speak Mandarin Chinese
Tom
too.
Green. Tom Green 很聪明啊。
Hal, thanks so much for coming on the show
奇怪的人。
tonight. Let's have a hand for Hal Sparks, everybody.
Yeah. Thanks, brother.
That was awesome. Everybody check out halsparks.com and his Ustream show. And,
Yeah, twice a week, Wednesdays and Saturdays with my radio show, and then tweet ups as well. And I'm in Brea this weekend. You should come down and do a set.
Oh,
You should
that'd
come
be
down
great.
and do a guest set.
That'd be great. I'm actually out of town. I'm in Toronto.
You're
I'm going to
Toronto. That's right. You're finally going to Toronto. Yeah.
Going up to Toronto this week, and we're on the road
Nice.
again. Good.
Nice. And I'm in Hawaii next week, which is
Nice.
awesome.
Nice.
Yeah. And then
That's a good one.
And then, of course, the DVD, which you can plug like
Yes.
crazy. It's on
Hal
Amazon.
Sparks, Charmageddon, Gentle Horse. Thank you for coming on the show today.
Absolutely.
This is great. Let's go get a drink. Good night,
Our
everybody.
pony. Right. 谢谢。下一次见。 Tom Green Show. It's the Tom Green Show. Tom Green Show. Tom Green Show. Tom Green Show.
Thank you, everybody.